Earth an ideal to strive towards. They'll race behind you. They will stumble, they will fall. In time, they will join you in the sun camp. You will help them accomplish wonders.
Hey, how is everybody doing out there on YouTube land? Welcome, I'm your host, Donovan, TPS, and tonight we've got another unproduced script reading for you, and tonight it is none other than the Superman Lives. Supposedly this was a Superman film that was going to be somewhat in the Tim Burton Batman universe, or so to speak, or he was in a direct or something like that. It was apparently Nicolas Cage. If you've ever seen that photo of Nicolas Cage as Superman, that was supposed to be this movie. It's also written by the legendary Kevin Smith. If you're a fan of classics like Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, when Along Came Polly. No, he didn't write that film. But yeah, so this is another unproduced script, and I'm super excited to do this. So I don't really want to dilly-dally anymore. I like to jump straight into this. And once again, we have performers from all around the world, but I'm not gonna spoil who they are. So without any further ado, is everybody ready?
Yeah.
We're ready. It's gonna be exciting. So without any further ado, this is Superman Lives. George, you know what to do. Take it away.
Exterior, space. An alien craft floats through the void, approaching a slow-moving asteroid. Interior, alien craft. Two humanoid aliens dressed in uniforms pilot their craft nearer to the asteroid.
Receiving a signal from an alien system, but there's interference on the channels.
Once we get past that asteroid, it should clear up.
Suddenly, through the windshield, we see tentacles shoot out of the asteroid. Exterior, space. The tentacles wrap themselves around the craft, and electrical energy courses between the pair. The asteroid reveals itself to be the Brainiac skull ship, a tentacle craft that looks like it sounds. A set of jaws protrude and puncture the hull of the small craft. It glows white-hot with power. Interior, skull ship, operating theater. We see a surgical table, its contents obscured by the shadows save for the back of a malformed head. Computer banks and monitors are everywhere. A small robot works beside the table, implanting a cable into the back of the malformed head. It throws a switch. Raw energy blows through the cable, causing the patient to convulse and writhe, screaming. Close-up, metallic shaft, as it begins to reconfigure, taking the stage or the shape of an arm. We see the same happen to other parts of his body, hands, legs, facial features. Exterior, space, the craft the skull ship holds, then goes dark, the energy being sucked from it, having run dry. Interior, skull ship, operating theater. The patient stops convulsing, as the cable attached to its head ceases to glow.
That was all the energy the craft yielded?
The craft was short range. My lord, I'm surprised they can had enough juice to give this much form. We pulled 1.9 trigs out of it. There's nothing more to get.
An inaccurate assessment.
Interior, small craft. The frightened alien tried to restart their craft.
Motion detectors are picking up something breaching the hull.
The doors melt. Brainiac enters, humanoid in appearance, green-skinned, black-eyed, red-lipped, metallic, and bald. A series of metal relays crisscrossed his forehead, 3 solid circles, intersected by straight lines. The aliens reached for laser gatlings and fire, but they caused no damage. Brainiac instead grabs the weapons, jamming them into his body, consuming the lasers into his form, energizing. He drops the guns, and his hands morph into tendrils, which plunge into the chest of the terrified aliens. He absorbs their life forces, making them husks, at which point they explode, covering cabin in goo. Brainiac inhales deeply, charged. Exterior, space. The tentacles of the skull ship unravel from the wrecked craft. The skull ship powers up and thrusts into the void. Interior, skull ship bridge. Brainiac watches space part before him. On the view screen, Elrond joins him, holding a containment unit.
Cosmic irony, Elrond. I, who have destroyed a world, am now forced to subsist like a parasite. Once, infinite power was my manifest. Now, look at the pride of feeble attempts to maintain even this meager anthropomorphic form.
At least you have what passes for legs.
Brainiac gives Elrond a withering look.
What did your search of the craft yield?
Elrond holds up the containment jar, inside which scurries a multi-legged, fist-sized creature.
Thanagarian snare beast, infancy stage, illegal in 16 systems due to the advanced nature of their growth patterns outside of their own atmosphere. Add it to the menagerie.
Then, a beacon sounds. On the main screen, scrambled letters and numbers appear, forming the distorted image of Lex Luthor, commanding. Corporate, suave, bald, and ominous.
Greetings. This message, transmitted in over 100 languages, comes to you from Earth.
Brainiac regards the message curiously.
I am Lex Luthor, owner and CEO of Lex Corp, a vast and powerful conglomerate that dominates trade on this planet. To whatever life form that may receive this, I extend an invitation to our world, non-hostile and eager to establish contact with extraterrestrial races. Earth welcomes a visit from whomever receives this greeting. I myself call open to you to make contact so that we may establish relations, open trade routes.
Brainiac turns away, disinterested. Then, the friendly greeting on screen turns darker.
And discuss any information you might have regarding a visitor to this planet of Kryptonian descent.
Brainiac snaps to attention, shocked recognition crossing his face.
My days of scavenging are over, Elrond. Lock onto this transmission and follow it to this Earth he speaks of.
What for?
Jor-El's most accomplished creation, Elrond, the Eradicator, still exists.
Brainiac's eyes glow with intrigue. Elrond shrugs and begins entering coordinates. Lex's message continues on screen.
From one superior intellect to another, Whomever or whatever you may be, I implore you to come to Earth so that we might discuss the problem we call.
Interior, television studio. A close-up of a stiff-looking telejournalist fills the screen.
Kristen, you want to be host? I forgot to cast it. Or Angel, if anybody wants to be host.
Sorry, I'm just not on the right page.
Oh, it's
Or
okay.
no page.
That's okay.
I see it. Okay.
Oh.
Superman, friend to Earth or hindrance. Tonight we take a closer look at the Man of Steel.
We're in a television studio. While the Nightline-like opening logos play, cameras whirl and reposition. Then,
Does the existence of a seemingly godlike vigilante impact the world positively or negatively? Examining this with us tonight is LexCorp CEO and Metropolis's second most well-known figure, Lex Luthor.
seated across from the host, Lex Luthor winces at the introduction, looking far more congenial than he did in his clip abroad. The skull ship, Lex, is in public persona.
Mr. Luthor, you've been the most vocal proponent of the Wortham Act, the bill that seeks to outlaw costume vigilantes in the greater metropolitan area. Given that Superman is the sole individual who could fall under this criteria, the question begs asking, why so much distrust of the man of tomorrow?
I am no enemy of Superman, Ted. Quite contrary. I find his flair for fashion and whimsical abilities very David Copperfield. Such a crowd-pleasing showman who makes Metropolis his home is a boon for tourist trade, of course, but I do question the good that Superman represents for the human race beyond entertainment value.
Such as?
Well, aiding the planet at every turn against war, famine, natural disaster for starters. It represents a complete freeze on the evolutionary process. And what of his more immediate effects on our society? Having Superman make his home in Metropolis is a veritable call to arms for any psychotic dreams of the world domination. The Wortham Act would be a deterrent to those who might consider jumping into a pair of tights and challenging the Man of Steel to a battle royal right here on the streets of our fair city.
An interesting position, Mr. Luthor. One I'm sure your opposition will refute. We welcome City Beat reporter from the Daily Planet, Lois Lane.
Lois sits beside Lex, beautiful yet poised, even though she looks thoroughly pissed.
Proposed act, which even Metropolis's own Governor Bree opposes, is nothing more than Lex's one-man crusade against Superman. Outlawing the Man of Steel would be like removing the soul of this city. I mean, can anyone even remember what Metropolis was like before Superman arrived?
As I recall, there were less red, white, and yellow souvenir stands. Miss Lane, have you ever been able to look past your blind allegiance to this off-worlder to think that maybe he employs criminals to improve his PR? For all we know, they are on his books.
In Salem, it was a witch hunt. In Hollywood, it was the Red Scare. Leave it to your fertile imagination to come up with Capegate.
The vehement defense you put up for him, I would say the only thing fertile around here is someone's hopes of carrying a super breath one day.
That's it.
Lois jumps Lex, who tumbles back in his chair. She begins laying into him, as the host leans into the frame, addressing the TV audience.
We'll be right back.
Fade to commercial. In an open field, a woman spins a small boy in her arms.
Family, it's the bottom line behind every decision she makes, yours or hers. In November, vote with your heart.
The chyron at the bottom of the screen reads, paid for by the committee to re-elect Governor Bree, as the visual locks on the small boy in her arms. Cut 2. Exterior, Hobbs Bay Street, day. The same small boy exits a bistro, holding the hand of this mother, Governor Caitlin Bree. They are flanked by Secret Service men, paparazzi, and telejournalists, including Cat Grant, converge on them, snapping photos.
Madam Governor, how was the meal?
Angel, Governor.
Sorry. Excellent. This vista represents the first major step into the revitalization of Metropolis' historic Hobbs Bay.
Do you think the redevelopment project can change the public's perception of this area as suicide slum?
If the meal was any indication, I would say absolutely.
How about it, Brody? What do you think of Bistro's food?
It was the best biscotti I had in my whole life.
The journos laugh. The governor kisses her son's head and hugs him, then turns back to the cameras.
I want Metropolitans to know that there is no danger in Hobbs Bay.
Suddenly, across the street, the side of the building explodes, raining debris on the crowd. The governor covers her son. 5 crudely masked thugs pour from the hole in the building, opening fire, sending people running. Then, from the still smoking blast hole, Deadshot emerges, clad completely in silver and red, featureless, save for the glowing red gun sight covering his right eye. The Secret Service men covering the governor draw their guns. Deadshot takes aim with his wrist revolvers and shoots the pieces from their hands. The thugs clear a path for their leader. The governor looks up to the Deadshot, standing over her.
This city will not bow down to terrorism of any kind.
Maybe not.
He drops the governor and grabs the boy by his collar.
But I'm sure you will, won't you, Mom?
Deadshot holds his wrist revolver to the sick or scared boy's head. A crimson laugh echoes out from behind the mask. Exterior, Daily Planet, building rooftop, day. We still hear Deadshot's laugh, but from someone else's perspective, a super hearing perspective. A very familiar pair of boots step to the edge of the building, then steps off, disappearing in a flash of red. Exterior, Hobbs Bay Street, day. A sonic boom fills the air. Deadshot looks to thug number 1.
Tell me that was your stomach.
High above, a streak of red descends at a rapid rate, rocketing into the pavement, leaving a hole in the ground.
Oh, shit.
The street beneath their feet explodes, and the same red streak flashes past Deadshot, taking in the boy in the blink of an eye, all immediately mobilized.
Grab the broad and let's get out of here.
The thug grabbed the governor as a van screeches up. Exterior, top of building, day. The boy is set down lightly on the roof. He opens his eyes, which then go wide. Before him stands Superman, 90s style, licking his hand.
Spaghetti. You okay?
Can we do that again?
First, I gotta beat up the bad guys.
My mom thinks you're cute.
That's why I voted for her.
Superman winks and leaps into the air, disappearing. Interior, van, day. The governor under Deadshot's gun, thug number 1, revs the engine. Suddenly, through the windshield, Superman explodes up through the hood of the van, adorned in engine parts.
Get out there and ventilate him.
Exterior, Hobbs Bay Street, day. Superman pulls himself from the van and hurls the engine at 2 of the thugs. The remaining 3 open fire. The bullets bounce from Superman's chest. Exterior, space, somewhere over Earth. The skull ship slinks into our atmosphere. Interior, skull ship. On the view screen, Brainiac and Elron watch Superman fight the masked thugs.
Ugh, do they all dress like that on this planet?
That symbol on his chest. It's a seal of scientific office from Krypton. It's a Kryptonian.
It can't be him. Kryptonians were never known to manifest above average strength or invulnerability.
Perhaps he derives his power from the Eradicator.
I don't know. He's not wearing any technology.
Get us to this Lex Luthor of Earth now.
Cut 2. Exterior, Hobbs Bay Street, day. As bullets bounce off Superman's chest, the Man of Steel's eyes glow red. 2 heat beams sear into the machine gun in the hands of one of the thugs. The gun glows red, and the thug drops it. Superman repeats this with this remaining 4 thugs until they're all disarmed, waving their hands in the air to cool them, looking as if they are waving goodbye. Superman waves goodbye back at them. Then we hear,
Deadshot?
Oh, oops, sorry. Hey, Boy Scout.
Deadshot's point of view through gunshot. Superman turns, his face falling to the crosshairs. Deadshot, holding the governor, fires a single kill shot. Superman's head jerks backwards and pauses momentarily. When he brings his dead forward, we see the bullet is caught in his teeth. He rocket spits the bullet out, which hits Deadshot's wrist revolver, throwing the villain's arm back, away from the governor. In a flash of red, Superman is in front of Deadshot, shaking his head.
Look at your outfit. What is this? Gotham?
He grabs Deadshot's wrist revolver and then finger flicks the villain in the head, knocking him out. People emerge from the bistro, cheering as the terrorists are collected by the authorities. Superman dusts the governor off and nods at her.
Madam Governor?
He disappears in a flash and a gust of wind, then reappears holding the boy.
Your most important constitute.
The governor hugs first her son, then Superman.
Ah, thank you, Superman.
Superman
Thank you.
blushes slightly, rubs the boy's head, and walks away. He glances down at Deadshot's wrist revolver. Superman's X-ray vision point of view. We see first the weapon, then through the weapon and into the components that make it tick. Zoom in on a set of microscopic serial number etched into a tiny chip. Back to scene. Superman shakes his head and sighs.
What a shock. Luthor.
The wrist revolver explodes in his hands. He drops it to the ground, where it continues to burn. Exterior, GBS building, night. Lex exits the building, flanked by Misty, his gorgeous but lethal bodyguard. He holds a small ice pack to his cheek.
I can't believe the bitch tagged me. What do I pay you for?
Then Jimmy Olsen shows up, out of breath. He looks at Lex panting, then nods to Luthor's Shiner.
Superman?
Lex seats as Lois emerges from the building.
It was the Joker, Jimmy. He was mad that Luthor stole his act.
I thought journalists were supposed to be impartial.
I thought humanitarians were supposed to be human. Care to comment?
Pithy to the last.
Lex hurries to his limo.
Pithy? Who uses that word anymore?
Chief wants you back at the planet, Miss Lane. Something big just broke out in Hobbs Day.
Superman?
There and gone.
They climb into the taxi that pulls up. Interior, Lex's limo. Night. Lex puffs on a cigar, slipping brandy from a snifter. He clicks on the TV news, which shows Superman at Hobbs Bay. Lex goes white-hot and wide-eyed with rage. Up front, Misty rolls her eyes. Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Lex exits his limo and marches bitterly toward the LexCorp building, followed by Misty.
6 months of planning, and all for nothing. With Governor Bree in line, I could have taken back control of the city from that alien.
Interior, elevator, night. Metropolis shrinking behind him. Lexus watches the digital numbers rise, seething. Then the elevator stops abruptly. Misty catches Lex, setting him upright again. Suddenly, the hatch at the top of the elevator is ripped off. A blue-clad arm reached in, pulling Lex out. Interior, elevator shaft. Superman holds Lex in his grip.
5th floor, hair care products.
One of these days, they're going to pass the Wortham Act. And then one of these nights, I'll be able to blast your pajama-clad ass out of the sky, legally.
Speaking of acts of violence, did you hear that one about Hobbs Bay? See, this guy wants to get all the anti-Superman bills passed. So he hired a few masked goons to threaten the governor to speed the bill along.
Lex yawns slightly, as if bored.
But here's the punchline. He's got some big ego. He demands that a serial number from his company show up somewhere on the hardware he provided his hired mercenaries, thus implementing him in a federal offense. Isn't that a gut buster?
Lex arches his eyebrows slightly. Then, a pissed Superman yanks Luthor to him, bringing them face to face.
I'm putting you behind bars.
No proof. Loaded hardware with self-destructs, triggered by the radiation waves of your X-ray vision.
Superman glares at Lex, knowing he's right.
Then maybe I should save the courts of Metropolis the time. Maybe myself, the judge, jury.
Superman hooks his foot under a bar on the elevator and starts towing the car up the shaft at an alarmingly fast rate.
And especially executioner.
Luthor looks up. Luthor's point of view. The fast approaching top of the shaft, jagged and deadly. If his head so much as touches it, he's a dead man. Lex panics. As the top of the shaft gets closer, Superman nonchalantly checks the nails on his free hand. The ceiling gets closer. Lex jams his eyes shut. Then Superman stops, thus stopping the car as well. Luthor's head is half-inched from a nasty spike. He opens his eyes slowly, looking from the spike to Superman.
You're hardly worth the effort.
He drops Lex and disappears in a burst of red. Exterior, space. The skull ship slips into Earth's orbit. Menacingly. Exterior, Daily Planet building, night. The globe spins atop Metropolis's one largest skyscraper. Lex built his bigger. All the windows are dark, except one, and through it, we see Lois. Interior, Daily Planet, Cedar Room, night. Lois, alone at her desk, types on her laptop. In the midst of tapping her fingers, create against the keys, another pitch of tapping joins in. Lois spins around to see Superman floating outside the window. Lois trips over a desk or two, rushing to the window.
Superman!
Evening, Miss Lane. Late night?
I'm just filing my piece on Hobbs Bay. Nice bit of work there.
Superman flies in, sitting down beside a desk. The nameplate on the desk says, Clark Kent.
Mr. Kent's desk?
This is Mr. Kent's fastidiously immaculate workstation. I call it Smallville Central.
He's not around tonight?
Thankfully, no. If I had to withstand Clark Kent day and night, I'd be at my therapist twice a week as opposed to once.
Doesn't take super sense to detect a little friction there. Not a fan of Mr. Kent, Miss Lane?
Clark's Clark, you know. He's great and all, don't get me wrong, but he's kind of a Dudley Do-Right. It's hard for me to relate to a man like that.
And why is that?
Lois looks at him, dead in his eyes. The costumed Adonis gives it back as a good as she's giving. Lois slams down the lid of her laptop and stands up.
Well, Superman, I'm not into all that Kansas Boy Scout babble. I'm the kind of woman who likes a man in tights.
And Lois plants one on Superman, long and passionate. Superman breaks the kiss and steps back.
Miss Lane, I have something to tell you.
He pulls Clark glasses from his cape and slips them on.
I'm really Clark Kent.
Lois goes wide-eyed and faints. Superman rushes forward and catches her. Then she opens her eyes and shakes her head.
Really, Clark, must we go through this every night?
They kiss. He brings her back to her feet.
Nice job with the bad guys, babe. I was proud of you.
Smellville Central? Who calls it that?
Try everybody, Clark, even Jimmy.
And I loaned that kid $20 last week. Ungrateful slacker. How about dinner?
Not Burger King again. Let's just eat at my place.
Miss Lane, you underestimate me. I was thinking a more monumental dinner.
Interior. Lex's office. Night. The nerve center of Lex Corp. A bank of monitors with a vast array of channels adorns one wall, over which hangs an alarmingly increasing digital readout titled Acres of Lex Corp Cleared Rainforest. In the center of the room, a monolithic desk, backlit by a large picture window. Misty sits on the couch, reading a magazine. Lex enters, fuming, covered in grease. He puts up his hand.
Don't ask. Just draw me a bath.
Misty heads off for the huge sunken marble tub at the far end of the office and runs the water while Lex crosses to his desk. He passes the bank of TVs, all of which detail Superman's Hobbs Bay endeavor. He pours himself a drink and sits, not noticing Elron resting atop the desk.
Greetings.
Lex goes wide-eyed at the robot and leaps from his chair.
Bomb!
Grabbing the robot, Lex charges by Misty and hurls Elron into the tub. He dives into the floor, hands over his head, awaiting the blast. After a beat, he looks up. Elron slowly rises up from the tub. It discharges water from its circuits and sputters.
So, with entrance B.
Then, the picture window explodes. Brainiac glides in, godlike. Much to Luthor's shock, Misty leaps in front of her boss/lover as the alarms sound.
Lex Luthor of Earth, I am Brainiac.
A pair of LexCorp soldiers burst through the doors.
Kill it!
The soldiers open fire at Brainiac. He absorbs the bullets, then pulls his energy suck maneuver from the first scene. Lex and Misty stare, wide-eyed.
I come to discuss the Kryptonian you mentioned in your homing message.
Clean up what's left of those guys.
Misty nods, backing away. Lex and Brainiac's eye each other, cautiously until Lex motions towards his desk. Brainiac follows, but stops short at Lex's impressive computer setup. He seems astonished.
This technology.
Brainiac sharply raises his hand between he and Lex. Lex startles a bit at Brainiac's hand, then reconfigures into something that he inserts into the computer. Downloading sounds are heard as Brainiac cocks his head, as if sampling wine.
Lex Tech Prime. My computers division builds these things. It's the most cutting edge, the most sophisticated, the most
Primitive. Ancient.
Brainiac extracts his appendage, which reconfigures anew.
Yes, well, you obviously know whereof you speak.
This Kryptonian you mentioned? I know of him as well.
Unit 9, full display.
The image on the monitors aligning to one single visual of Superman in action from earlier that day.
He is my mortal enemy, the object of my ire. You're not a friend of his by any chance, are you?
Where I come from, we destroy that which impedes our progress. Why have you not done the same?
Kill Superman? Look, I've had everyone who was ever a thorn in my side done away with. From my third grade teacher to my third wife, nothing eases friction like pow. You know what I'm saying? Superman would have been dead as white weddings if it weren't for the fact that he's from Krypton, whatever the hell that is, which means he can't be killed.
I watched Krypton die screaming, Lex Luthor. Invulnerable is something its inhabitants weren't. He's aided by technology of some sort. A machine?
As far as we can tell, Pinocchio has no strings.
And it's his chemistry. It must be affected by this planet. Radioactive shards of our destroyed homeworld would be toxic to his system.
Kryptonite.
Brainiac whirls back.
I've spent the last 2 years and millions of LexCorp dollars trying to synthesize this stuff. You know what it yielded?
Lex reaches into a drawer and pulls out a pottery shell covered in mossy grass.
The Chia Pet.
Lex places it on his desk beside a model of a space station with large mirror panels. Brainiac analyzes the model curiously.
One of LexCorp's long-range goals, a solar conductor. One of these days, this puppy's going to make me a multi-billionaire, going to draw energy directly from the sun's surface and sell it to the masses.
Brainiac presses something on the model and a huge gun turrets pop out with accompanying cannons. Lex smiles.
That's the long-range goal, a massive solar-powered cannon.
As Lex speaks, Brainiac's attention is drawn from the model to the footage of Superman's in action. Then back to the model. A plan begins formulating.
We're thinking concentrated sunbeams might fry a hole through the Man of Steel. It's a stretch, but a guy's got to have a dream.
Blasting him with a solar beam will only enhance his power. This world is fueled by the light of a yellow sun, is it not?
Last time I checked. Why?
Krypton, too, was fueled by a sun, a red sun. The actual construct of this, is it operational?
Maybe in 20 years, but for what it's worth, it's up there already.
Surrender it to me. I'll augment it with my own technology. Provide me with this, and you will not only have your solar conductor 20 years ahead of schedule, but this Superman will be how, as you say.
All the capital, material, and technologies of my company are at your service, if you can kill Superman. You accomplish that, and to this planet's inhabitants, I'll make you a god.
Exterior, Lex Tech Dynamics, night. A radar dish reconfigures as we hear.
Mr. Luthor, you can't do this.
Interior, Lex Tech Dynamics control room, night. A scientist, Schuster, argues vehemently with Lex as Misty oversees a technician.
Who pays the bills here, Schuster? I want the solar conductor reconfigured to these coordinates.
But it's not durable enough to travel this far out of Earth's orbit.
Lex nods to Misty, who puts the kibosh on Schuster. Dropping him to the floor, Lex glares at the technician, who feverishly works on his computer.
I would never presume to tell you your business, but it seems you're trading one alien for another.
Never trust anyone with the stones to call himself Brainiac. I equipped that rocket we gave him with a diagnostic scanner that'll give me a complete breakdown of what makes him and his technology tick. And we have that. LexCorp will be the most powerful corporation in the world.
Because Superman will be gone.
Because all have harnessed the capabilities of an artificial intelligence so advanced it can hold a conversation with people, not to mention the computers that make up the defense systems of every NATO nation on Earth.
An extortion racket?
The extortion racket, my dear.
Exterior, space. The solar conductor, a huge version of the model, powers up. It rockets deeper into the stars. We pan down from those stars to see. Exterior, Mount Rushmore, night. A nice view of the presidentially sculptured mountain. On top of Washington's head, we see a small fire burning. Exterior, Mount Rushmore, atop Washington's head, night. Clark and Lois sit on a blanket, looking out over the visits. There is a campfire going, and the remnants of their dinner lay strewn about the open picnic basket. Lois sips wine from a glass. Clark drinks orange juice.
Monumental. You're such a goof.
Thank Pa for that. He was the punster of the family. Puns. Ma, she's the only one who taught me how to cook, though.
Ma also taught you how to reheat chicken with your eyes.
Some things a boy has to learn on his own.
Did it ever bother you being the adopted child, never knowing your real parents?
If I ever did, it was only because I couldn't help but feel my destiny, might have been stolen from me.
How so?
Well, I start wondering, what was I supposed to do in life? What would I be like if Krypton hadn't, who were my parents? Would I have ever left the planet? Would I have ever come down to Earth? Would I have ever met you?
No, but you'd probably still read me. You'd say to yourself, if I could only be half the writer this Lois Lane of the planet Earth is.
I know it sounds silly, but where do I get off complaining? Me, the guy who's faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive. What's that last one?
Something about tall buildings.
Right. But all that aside, I'm just a person, I have what ifs like everyone else. What if I'd grown up under a red sun and never had these powers?
Would you save me again and again and again?
Somehow I doubt you have any trouble getting along without me.
Trouble? No. Fun? Yes.
They kiss deeply as we cut to interior, skull ship. Brainiac and Elron watch the solar conductor on their view screen.
Launch the hybrid technology.
Elron presses a button on the control panel. Interior, rocket cargo hold. Technology extremely alien in appearance fills the cargo hold. It begins vibrated, then explodes, growing out of the smoke. It spreads throughout the cargo hold on. And exterior, space. Out through the rocket seams, it consumes the rocket from within, covering it in biometallic tendrils. In the midst of the solar conductor, on Earth, made rocket labeled Lex Tech 37 grows white hot with energy. Then, laser bursts out of it from all the sides, striking and bouncing off the mirrors of the solar conductor, creating a net across the miles-wide diameter. The net begins to slowly prevent sunlight from passing through. The light that shone on Earth now fades slightly as Brainiac's shadow caster goes to work. Exterior, Mount Rushmore, night. Packing up, Clark doubles over slightly as if suddenly woozy. He rights himself and shakes it off, smiling.
Indigestion. Maybe I didn't cook that chicken long enough.
You know what I was just thinking about? The rocket. The one you told me brought you to Earth. Whatever happened to it?
It's at the fortress.
Ah, the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Do you ever study it? Try to learn something more about where you came from? About your parents even?
I know all I'm ever going to know. There was a planet. It blew up. End of story. I rather dwell on the present and the future, which is something I like to talk to you about.
No, no, no. Let's talk about flying home and going to bed. We both have work tomorrow.
Why do you always get like this when I try to talk about our relation? When I try to talk about where our relationship is going, all I'm saying is that I love you,
And I love you too.
and I'd like to talk about something more permanent.
Lois's eyes go wide. She stares at him for a beat, then looks down.
You know, the first time I heard about you, I thought you were a hoax. Flying man stunned city, the paper said. Yeah, right, I said. But then I saw you land that downed shuttle on your back. And in that moment, every jaded bone in my body believed that a man could fly. The first time I met you as Clark, I thought you were the squarest hick to ever escape Kansas. When you called me Miss Lane, you were so polite and even gallant that you made me feel like a princess. The first time you told me about, well, your other job, there was a moment of shock. And then it all made sense. Who else but Clark Kent would care so much about people he didn't even know? And the first time we kissed, I knew it was you. You were the person I'd stopped believing in years before, the one my mother told me about. And the first time you left me in the middle of the night to rescue that luxury liner, I knew that you didn't belong to me. You belonged to the world.
She steps back and looks at him.
Lois,
Your responsibilities are huge. I can't possibly expect you to divide your time between a wife and the world. What about children, if that's even possible?
look, I could slow down, pace myself.
And feel the weight of a death you couldn't prevent because you were too busy bringing kids to the video store?
Lois shakes her head sadly. Clark's eyes are downcast. Her words truer than he can bear.
There's nothing I'd want more than to share a life with you. But I won't settle for a half-life.
Clark takes it in somberly. Then he lifts his head, as if listening to something far away.
A plane's in trouble over Partigay. Lois,
Go ahead. Just don't forget to come back for me.
Clark becomes a blur that turns into Superman. He leaps off the cliff. Exterior, space, continuous. The shadow caster seals off a large section of sunlight. Exterior, Mount Rushmore, continuous. Suddenly, Superman is struck, as if shot. He falters in midair and falls against the edge of the cliff. Lois shrieks and grabs his hand, catching him in the nick of time. Superman looks up at her, wide-eyed. He throws his other hand up to Lois. She digs her heels into the ground and pulls as Superman climbs up to the safety of the level ground. He collapses to his hands and knees, breathing heavily. Lois is on top of him, checking his pulse, feeling his hand.
God, Clark, are you okay? What happened? Was it kryptonite?
it wasn't a toxic reaction, it was something else.
We gotta get you home.
I'll be okay. I'll be okay. That plane won't fly itself if I don't leave now.
Are you out of your mind? You almost fell off a cliff, Clark. You.
Superman gently extracts his cape from her grip, touching her face. He then lifts off the ground, hanging there, apparently back to normal. He shrugs at her and disappears in a flash of red, leaving behind a worried Lois. Exterior, space, night. The skull ship looms through the vacuum of night. Interior, skull ship, control room, night. Brainiac punches some buttons, and the specks on the Eradicator fill the screen.
But how do you know the Eradicator will even show up? It's been years. My liege, the technology could be ancient history by now.
Interior, menagerie, night. Doors hiss open, and they enter the vast menagerie, a zoological collection of various species collected during Brainiac's journey through the cosmos. Brainiac heads to one in particular, a knee-high, translucent tube filled with what looks like the contents of a lava lamp. Brainiac opens the case, extracting an embryonic protoplasmic life form. It looks harmless, if ugly, letting out a meager yowl. He places it into a missile-looking tube, sealing it closed.
Jor-El was no fool. He would not have sent his only child to an alien world without the protection the Eradicator would provide. The technology is out there, Elron, and absorbing it will provide me with enough power to both maintain my body permanently and make me a god.
Right. Let's kill the cape.
A hole opens in the wall, and Brainiac slides the tube into it. He pushes a large button on the panel. Exterior, skull ship, night. The tube rockets from the rear of the ship and heads towards Earth. Exterior, Metropolis Park, night. The capsule rockets into an atmosphere and pierces the ground, embedding itself deep within the Earth, unseen. Exterior, Daily Planet building, day. The streets of Metropolis bustle below as we hear.
One more time, Olsen, in English, please. How did we get these shots again?
Interior, Perry White's office, close-up, computer monitor. We scroll through photos of the Hob base incident.
Like I said, Chief, I'm wired.
Pull back to reveal Clark and Lois sitting in front of Perry way too busy desk. Watching Jimmy clicking on a mouse pad, Perry White, the planet's vulnerable old editor, watches. Befuddled.
I'm linked to thousands of other photojournalists around the world. We exchange images all the time.
Jump into the cyberpool with the rest of us, Mr. White.
And we're allowed to run these pictures?
Free and clear, with a photo credit.
All
I
about
can't
the
hear you.
paper.
Lois.
Oh, give the kid a break, Perry. He's all about the paper.
Lois, my office. My office.
Lois works here under the assumption it's hers as well.
Eat it, Smallville.
All right, Olsen. You can keep your computer thing. Now, vamoose.
Jimmy shuffles by Lois, who pats him on the back. Perry slumps in his chair.
Down to brass tacks. What have either of you got?
Pop Lex Tech scientist, Dr. Schuster, went missing last night.
Got a call from a technician who said that Schuster and Lex got into a heated argument over the altered trajectory project of that LexCorp experimental space station.
The one Lex has yet to disclose the purpose of to NASA? What else?
The boys in weather fed me this one. It seems that Dawn was 11 minutes behind schedule this morning.
Because?
Unsubstantiated rumors of something spotted by the fellas up at the observatory. Sounds like a story up Smallville's alley.
I believe Mr. White gives out the assignments here, Laney.
Don't call me that.
Then don't call me Smallville.
The phone rings. Perry pounces on it.
White, go. What? I'll be right there. Both of you stay here and hash out who gets the space thing. I'll be right back.
Perry storms out of his office, leaving Clark and Lois alone. There is some silence. Then,
I'm sorry I didn't stay over last night.
I'm an adult, Clark. I'm not throwing a hissy just because you missed my sleepover.
Look, I'm just having a hard time understanding what I said that was so wrong.
You didn't say anything wrong, Clark. You said everything a woman spends her whole life waiting for a man to say to her.
And why your reaction? Why this distance?
Because you're not a man, Clark. You're a god.
Clark attempts to say something, but pauses. He listens to seemingly nothing. Exterior, Metropolis Park. From the hole in the ground the pod made, smoke begins to rise ominously. There's a rumbling sound. Interior, Perry White's office, day. Clark is still listening. Lois looks at him, puzzled.
What is it?
Interior, Daily Planet City Room, day. Journalists look up from their keyboards as the room begins to shake. Exterior, Metropolis Park. The ground shakes. Thunderous roars emit from the hole. Interior, Perry White's office, day. Lois looks slightly panicked. Clark unbuttons his collar.
Earthquake?
Can't be. I checked the crustal plates just last month.
Interior, Metropolis sewer system. At a dank and dripping cross-section, a pair of sewer workers check a pipe that's broken loose. The tunnel begins to shake violently, and the sewerage begins bubbling. The workers look at it, then head for the manhole. Suddenly, something erupts from the muck, looming huge in the shadows behind the fleeing workers. Whatever it is pulls them from beneath the sewerage. Exterior, Metropolis Park, day. Suddenly, the ground explodes, throwing passerby flying, leaving a 6-foot crater. Interior, Perry White's office, day. Perry bursts in as Clark quickly rebuttons his collar.
There's a report of an explosion in the sewer beneath Metropolis Park.
We're on it, Chief.
She pulls Clark out of the office at a speedy clip. Exterior, stairwell, day. The door flies open and Lois and Clark rush in. Lois slams the door close behind her.
Sounds like a job for...
I want you to do me a favor. Whatever you do, stay away from Metropolis Park. I've got a bad feeling about this.
I've got a good feeling that whatever it is news. And me being a journalist...
Lois, no.
Lois looks into his eyes. He seems almost afraid.
Last night, a cliff.
You slipped, Clark. That's all.
But it happened when I grabbed the plane. 2, something didn't feel right. My strength. Just, please, stay put until I know everything's all right.
Go find a phone booth.
Clark dashes away, taking the stairs 2 at a time, then 5. In the blur that travels at more than human speed down flight after flight, the colors that emerge from the gray of Clark's suit are the familiar blue and red. Exterior, Daily Planet building, day. Through the revolving doors shoots the Man of Steel, creating a sonic boom in his wake, sending the papers, trash, and hair of Metropolitans flying. Exterior, Metropolis Park, day. Superman arrives at the crater. He looks into the darkness. Then he hears something above. Exterior, space. The shadow caster seals off another section of the sun. Exterior, Metropolis Park, day. Superman looks down again, then up. He's about to leap into the air to investigate the sound from above. Suddenly, 2 gray meaty paws erupt from the earth, pulling Superman underground. Interior, sewer tunnel, day. Superman emerges from the muck, spitting out waste. He wipes his eyes clean and looks up to see an unearthly monster, ferocious and gray in appearance, leathery skin, pockmarked with rock-like protrusions. Doomsday has arrived. The beast leaps at the Man of Steel. The pair begin their fight, throwing punches and kicks. Doomsday grabs Superman by his cape and swings him through the side of the tunnel. Doomsday pulls aside concrete, giving himself a clear passage into the other tunnel. Then Superman appears from nowhere, uppercutting the tremendous beast, sending him flying. Exterior, Metropolis Park, day. Through the crater into the park, Superman shoots out of the hole behind him, landing beside the beast.
All right, clear out of here now.
Doomsday kicks Superman in the back, but Superman rallies. Interior, Skull Ship. On the main screen, we see the combatants fighting.
He's incredible. He just keeps going.
I call it Doomsday.
Not that thing. Superman. Look at him battle.
Brainiac offers the little robot a dour expression. Elron deflates. Brainiac pushes a button on the control board.
I wouldn't lay wagers on the Kryptonian just yet.
Exterior, space. The Shadowcaster goes full throttle, completely cutting off what little sunlight was seeping out. Exterior, Metropolis, day. The sun, eclipsed by Brainiac's device, disappears, plunging the earth and the city into the darkness of moonlight. Interior, Daily Planet building, night. Lois and Jimmy watch from the windows. The city rooms in a panic. Perry joins them.
Hey, it's only noon. What's going on with the sun?
This just came in from the government weather satellites.
The photos show the Shadowcaster in its dormant and operative mode.
I can only help Kent's out there covering this. To sit the same place you should be, although from a safe distance.
Chief, I promised.
Olsen, you go with her. I want some candids of whatever that thing is Superman's fighting.
I'm on it, Chief. Come on, Miss Lane. Come on.
Jamie drags Lois out. Perry calls after them.
And hurry! If I know the Man of Steel, this rumble's going to be over before it started.
Exterior, Metropolis Park, night. Superman takes a hit from Doomsday and goes tumbling backwards. He pauses and notices the fading sunlight. Then it dawns on him. His power source is being cut off. Doomsday plows into him. Superman fights back valiantly, but knows that he's being depleted. He begins to falter. Doomsday grabs him and hurls Superman back into the hole. Interior, sewer system. Superman lands, and Doomsday is on him anew, holding Superman in a headlock. Superman flips Doomsday off his back and drop kicks him down the tunnel, out of his sight. Then we hear a high-pitched shriek sounding. Superman winces, the sound filling his head. The shriek fades, and we hear tapping, as if on a microphone. End.
Is this thing on? Hello, Blue Boy. It's your better, Luthor, speaking to you from a frequency that only super hearing can detect.
Interior, Lex's office, night. Lex looks out upon the prematurely darkened Metropolis, a microphone in his hand.
Things don't look too good for you, alien. It seems I've finally found your Achilles heel, the Earth's yellow sun.
Exterior, sewer, drop-off drain. Superman enters cautiously.
Without it, you're not that impressive. Look at you, alone, beaten, nearly broken. Where are all the good people you put your little neck on the line so many times for? You'd think they'd return the favor.
Then, Doomsday drops from the ceiling, crushing the Man of Steel. They fight through the current, heading towards the drop-off. Superman pulls himself from the D-Day's grasp. But Doomsday double fists the floor, shaking the ceiling loose, which comes down around Superman, pinning him. Doomsday winds up and gives Superman a right hook, then sending him falling into churning muck below. Exterior, Metropolis streets. Lois lies across a cab's hood, rushing towards the park. She muscles through the crowds that keep their distance. Interior, sewer drop-off. Doomsday studies the muck below. Superman explodes from the sewerage, howling up at Doomsday in a flash, catching him with fists, the pair. Exterior, Metropolis streets. Shoot through the pavement, spraying debris everywhere. Superman goes ballistic, racing at the beast anew, pummeling him. But Doomsday rallies back, throwing punches that actually draw blood. The Man of Steel drops to his knees, Lex's voice still filling his head.
You'd think the solar energy that you store would last longer, wouldn't you? I mean, you fly at night, and there's no sun then. Why are you weakening now? Apparently, soaring through the sky, catching muggers, and rustling the occasional cat burglar doesn't take the effort it's taking you to hold your own against the mindless wonder there. Any stored solar energy you may have is being exhausted. Plainly put, you're running out of gas, and the pumps are closed.
Doomsday leaps atop Superman, beating him down savagely. Superman's running out of time. Exterior, Antarctic. The snow is almost blinding. Even in the darkness, we pan across the tundra and drop into a large canyon. Interior, Antarctic Canyon. Buried deep in the snow, we see the fortress of solitude, Superman's home away from home. Outside the massive front doors stand two statue-like polar bears. Interior, fortress. Amongst various trophies and keepsakes hangs a rocket, an escape craft that brought Superman to Earth all those years ago. Interior, craft. In the cabin, electrical pulses start to ignite. A screen forms, igniting with a series of random numbers and Kryptonian letters until they form the S insignia. Cut to exterior, Metropolis streets. The torn S insignia on Superman's chest, dripping with blood. Superman gives it his all against his mindless doomsday, the voice of Lex still filling his head.
I really just called to tell you that your reign is over. You're being replaced, and this city, this world, is about to fall on its knees before LexCorp and its CEO.
We hear Superman's heartbeat, and it's not strong. Interior, craft. Back in the Antarctic, the heartbeat faintly echoes through the cabin. The S on the screen gives way to a vital sign graph, including a heart rate monitor. All the signs are dangerously low, as indicated by the readout. Interior, fortress. The body of the rocket dislodges from the ceiling. Falling to the snow, it begins transforming, growing a body. Exterior, Metropolis streets. Superman and Doomsday go at it, both weakening. But it's clear Superman's the worse off. Lois pushes through the crowd, followed by Jimmy. Her eyes go wide.
Clark, go, fly away. Get out of here before that thing kills you.
His power diminished. The Man of Steel is on the ropes. His lethal opponent, too, appears to be reaching for the grave. But neither relents, and now Superman has Lex's voice in his head.
You had no business here from the start, Kryptonian, but here, you'll die.
Close up, Superman, who allows himself a quick, pained glance at. Close up, Lois, eyes filled with tears. Close up, Superman, as he manages a final weak smile, as if to say goodbye.
I just wanted you to know who it was that beat you, boy.
Close up, Lois. She at first smiles through her tears as well, until she realizes what it means.
No!
And the pair throw their last punches, connecting with one another's heads. The shock of their mortal blows explode like a sonic boom throughout Metropolis. Close up, Lois, wide-eyed. Close up, Jimmy, who stops snapping photos and looks up. Interior, Lex's office. Close up, Lex, who stares down at the tiny spectacle from high above, smiling. Exterior, Metropolis streets. And in a moment that seems like an eternity, the two mighty combatants fall into the ground. Interior, fortress. And the Eradicator comes online. He stands erect, taking in his surroundings. He moves to a nearby computer and hooks into it. A map of the world fills the screen. We digitally race through it and land in. Exterior, Metropolis streets. The city is paralyzed. Then the crowd starts to move. News crews and military personnel coverage, crowding around the fallen Superman. Lois fights her way through the masses. Dropping to her knees beside her fallen man of steel, she lifts his head from the rubble, cradling it. He opens his eyes, partially, muck, filth, and blood obscuring his vision and suit.
Is it?
You did it, Clark. You did it.
Lois?
He goes limp. Lois breaks down. The crowd's in shock. Superman is dead. Interior, skull ship. Brainiac and Elrond smile at the same image on the ship's view screen.
Throw out a wave pulse net. My calculations are correct. The technology will be coming online soon.
Interior, fortress. The Eradicator stares up at the mapping system with a flashing red light indicating the fallen Superman's location.
Metropolis.
Interior, skull ship. Elrond looks up from the monitor of the control panel.
So far, nothing, my liege.
Patience, Elrond. Okay.
Interior, fortress. The mapping on the screen transposes and rises above Metropolis, landing on a diagram of the skull ship. Over the image flashes the message, Predator detected.
Brainiac, here.
The image disappears, replaces with activating cloaking device. The Eradicator then concentrates on the map.
Now, how to get to Kal-El without being detected? Or get Kal-El to me?
The Eradicator types at the computer he's hooked into. The screen begins filling with numbers, letters, and an array of binary codes. Interior, skull ship, on control board. A signal beeps. Brainiac punches a button anxiously. Only you be greeted by Lex's face on the view screen.
What are you waiting for? Phase 2! If this is going to work, we have to move to phase 2, now!
Brainiac scrolls at the screen and switches off.
Insolent Hugmeat. Animate the carcass.
Exterior, Metropolis streets, night, close-up, Doomsday's eyes. A high-pitched charge is heard, and the dead eyes snap open. The creature steers and sits bolt upright, growling. The crowd begins screaming. The tearful Lois looks up from her fallen lover to see Doomsday moving. Interior, skull ship. Elrond enters codes and presses buttons, animating Doomsday corpse, which we see on the view screen.
Finish this mess so we can find the technology.
Elrond hits a button. Exterior, skull ship. From the skull ship's bow, a red beam emits, cutting through space. Exterior, Metropolis streets. The beam strikes the animated dead body of Doomsday, incinerating it. People leap out of the way as Doomsday explodes. Metropolitans look skyward for a source of the blast, but find nothing. Lois is among them for a beat. She then goes back to cradling her lover's head. Jimmy comforts her, then sadly stands, looking through the eyepiece of his camera.
Rest in peace, big guy.
We hold on the frozen photo image of the Man of Steel held by his secret lover. Dissolved to exterior, Metropolis skyline, night. The next day, the city is dark, both in morning and in lack of the sun. Exterior, Metropolis streets, night. On the streets below, artificial light is cast from high-powered LexCorp cleats. It's the same straight down the avenue, LexCorp lights everywhere, and people as well. The crowds are enormous, all wearing black armband emblazoned with Superman's S shield. They scramble to get a look at it. A horse-drawn carriage in the midst of which is a casket. Its open top reveals Superman, eyes closed, peaceful. His cape hangs over his lid. Exterior, Metropolis, night. The backdrop draped in black, with a blown-up photo of Superman adorning the center. The viewing stage holds various city and world dignitaries who stare mournfully at the approaching carriage. Cat Grant addresses her camera team, flanked by Lois.
Cat and Grant here, bringing you WGBS's continuing coverage of what the president has called the world's darkest hour. Offering her perspective on this sadly historic day is Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane, whose name is synonymous with the Man of Steels.
While we are here in Metropolis to say goodbye to a friend, around the globe, crisis management teams are working tirelessly to counter the effects of the eclipse.
Exterior, foreign locales. While Lois speaks, we see LexCorp colleagues powering up. At sites around the globe, LexCorp trucks empty, LexCorp food supplies.
Financial analysts have predicted that LexCorp will make billions from around the globe as the sole supplier of available energy.
Exterior, Metropolis Park, night. Lois continues.
The burial monument, commissioned by Lex Luthor himself, strikes this reporter as being built in a remarkable, expedient fashion. When questioned on this, Luthor responded evasively, "We had our differences, but a man such as this deserves an equal memorial."
Lois, perhaps the greatest memorial to his efforts is that so far, 0 casualties have been reported from this citywide battle.
Although my colleague, Clark Kent, is still missing, presumably killed during the fallout from the battle. Rescue teams have been sifting through the rubble, but so far there's no sign of him.
More on that story tonight, but right now, the procession has reached the tomb.
The carriage stops, and a priest says a blessing over the Man of Steel's body, closing the casket lid. But before it closes, we get a glimpse of 2 small blinking lights attached to a suit. Interior, skull ship. On the view screen, an outline of Superman's body has the same corresponding blinking red lights. Elron notes this. Exterior, Metropolis Park. Pallbearers carry the casket toward the monument. A huge bronze replica of Superman in his up and away stance. Jimmy snaps away, stopping momentarily to wipe a tear from his eye as the pallbearers insert the casket into the base, sealing the metal doors. Interior, skull ship. On the view screen, digital tumblers lock into place, and a message flashes. Alarm engaged. Elron turns to Brainiac, who is suiting up in some uncharacteristically resplendent costuming, complete with cape.
The security measures on both the suite and the tomb have been activated. If anything attempts to remove his body, and that's a big if.
There are no ifs, Elron. The Eradicator is here. I know it.
And who, might I ask, is opening for Maillage in Vegas this weekend?
Lex Luthor's idea of what a Kryptonian should look like alone marks him for execution.
Something we should act on now.
I have further use for Lex Luthor. Until such time as we have the Eradicator, I will feed off LexCorp's energy supplies to maintain my form. And once we have the technology of Jor-El, you may kill Lex Luthor. Now, prepare my skiff.
Exterior, Metropolis Park, night. Governor Bree rides a cherry picker to the outstretched arm of the statue, where she hangs Superman's cape. For the crowd that can't get near the tomb, the burial is broadcast on the WGBS building giant screen TV. Then the image of the funeral is interrupted by a familiar symbol, the bat signal. It gives way to a shadowy image of the Dark Knight deep within the bat cave.
Good evening, Metropolis. It is with heavy heart that I offer you and my Gotham deepest condolences. I apologize for my absence, but with the loss of the sun, I'm all that opposes the criminal element in my city, who I've seized upon the cover of darkness to further their evil purposes.
From up top, the viewing stage, Lois and the others stare up at the screen.
The guardian of your city, of the world, held Metropolis and its inhabitants very near to his heart.
The message continues on the screen.
It's been said that he fought a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. Honor this fallen soldier well by keeping his memory alive in the face of this adversity. From this day forwards, we forever shoulder the burden of a world without Superman.
On the giant screen, the Dark Knight withdraws further back into the shadows until he is completely unseen. The bat signal comes up again and then scrambles into the image of the funeral below. But suddenly, over the top of the giant screen, a hover skiff rises, sending the crowd below into a panic. Jimmy joins Lois, snapping pictures of the descending craft as it lands on the viewing stage. Aboard the craft is Brainiac, now decked out in alien garb, replete with face-obscuring helmet, and Lex, with an arm draped over Brainiac's shoulder. Lex jumps to the podium microphone.
People of Metropolis, this is a great day in our planet's history. Today, you will learn of a secret too long kept by myself and Superman.
A murmur goes through the crowd. Atop the viewing stage, Lois looks at Lex suspiciously as Lex continues.
Superman's job was not to protect our city, but instead to pave the way for an amazing new era in this planet's history.
Kat moves closer to Lois, whispering.
You're on mute, Kat.
Has the old man finally lost it?
Lois?
I think it's worse than that.
Lex encourages applause from the confused crowd.
Over the last 2 years, Superman and I had been working closely to prepare this world for its introduction to more extraterrestrials like himself, and like the being I now present to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the true power behind our fallen Man of Steel, Brainiac.
Urged by Lex, Brainiac approaches the podium as a hush falls over the crowd.
Today marks a terrible day for our planet, Krypton. Superman, as you called him, was a herald of the highest order, having gone before me to many planets, preparing them for first contact. I stand before you now, in the spirit of hope and peace.
A cheer goes up from the crowd. Brainiac looks out upon the thrall, emotionless. Lex pats him on the back, whispering in his ear.
Keep it up. They're buying it.
Lois watches Brainiac's and Lex's interaction with suspicion, but her face belies fear that what's being said may be the truth.
His true mission was kept secret from you to protect you until you were ready to accept aliens into your world. Sorrowfully, my herald gave his life fighting a foul menace, weakening the beast so that I was able to vaporize it using the power of my ship above. the creature, was from a race of warmongers that have designated this planet for annihilation. But in concert with Superman and Lex Luthor, I have been able to blanket your planet in darkness to protect you from the approaching hordes.
Lois goes bug-eyed, her journalistic instincts kicking in. She charges the podium, biting off LexCorp's security.
What is he talking about? Is he saying that you two, blocked out the sun?
Ms. Lane, let the deity speak.
Using materials provided by Lex Luthor and my own advanced technology, I fashioned a device to enshroud the planet in a darkness that will provide camouflage.
From what?
From them.
Suddenly, the dark skies above shimmer, and an armada of ships can be seen moving slowly through space, patrolling. With a multitude of spacecraft visible, it would appear that Earth is under attack. The Metropolitans panic, screaming, moving to run. Brainiac holds his hands out.
Do not fear. We are not visible to the Armada.
The crowd calms, listening to Brainiac.
The forced eclipse that darkens the skies is what keeps us hidden. The menace above cannot detect your world and will slowly pass through your galaxy within days. Once they have moved on, I will end the eclipse and bring back the sun.
Until that time, LexCorp energy will fuel the planet, and LexCorp Industrial Services will keep the world operating smoothly, as if the sun had never left.
The crowd slowly breaks into applause. Lex smiles, joining hands with Brainiac and raising them into the air. Brainiac seems to be confused by this, but goes along with it. His attention is more focused on the tomb. Surrounded by people, Brainiac cannot see it. Interior, fortress. The Eradicator stops typing at the computer. He presses enter. The numbers on the screen reconfigure, conforming Superman's S insignia. It glows red. Interior, tomb, back in Metropolis. Inside the casket, the S on Superman's chest also begins glowing red. Superman's body begins shimmering and teleports, Trek style, out of sight, leaving behind his suit, on which the security measures still blink. Exterior, Metropolis, park, night. Lex urges Brainiac to further address the crowd.
Like Superman, I will endeavor to protect Earth and its inhabitants. It's the least I can do in return for your warm, warm welcome. And in memory of Superman.
Brainiac raises his arms like Nixon. The crowd goes wild. Luthor leads the crowd in a rallying cry of cheers for Earth's greatest hero, Brainiac. And as the cat Grant rushes the podium to get an interview with the heroic pair, Lois stares at them both, coldly and at a loss, amid the thrall of support for Brainiac. Fade to black. Dream sequence. We smash cut into a speeding traffic shot, traveling on electrical impulses through the tortuous path of Superman's brain, hearing.
Greetings, my son.
A close-up of Jor-El fades into the view.
It has been many years since you have looked upon the face of your birth father through infant eyes. I only wish this message come to you under better circumstances.
Jor-El and Laura work in their lab. They step back to reveal the Eradicator, who sits up and opens his eyes.
Your mother and I spent years constructing an autonomous freeform computer in order to study more closely the volatile core of our home world.
The Eradicator emerges from a deep, smoky shaft.
We named the living computer the Eradicator after a Kryptonian mythological figure.
The Eradicator plugs himself into the computer in their lab. On the monitor, images of the planet's volatile core appear. After a beat, a metal shaft appears in the lava.
It confirmed our worst fears. The planet was unstable, but even more horrifying was the cause of the duress.
Then alarms sound and the light flash. The screen goes black, filling with the symbol of Brainiac.
This Brainiac system had come from off-world, brought online to police the planet. We learned it was up to far more than that.
Bound in handcuffs and illuminated by a shaft of light, Jor-El stands before...
I discovered the renegade science officer, Jor-El, engaged in illegal planetary experimentation. How does the accused plead?
I'll plea anything you wish. If the council will hear my plea that the planet be evacuated now, in moments, Krypton will perish.
Brainiac, is there any validity to Jor-El's claim? None. He's lying. The planet is in no danger, but Jor-El himself represents a threat. He has ignored the tempered technology code and constructed a sentient computer system with a perpetual battery. The Eradicator.
A second shaft of light illuminates the Eradicator, sealed in a glass containment chamber.
The Eradicator is not a threat. Brainiac is. The data we collected points to him as the cause of the core's instability. He is siphoned of the planet's energy.
Suddenly, a beam shoots out of Brainiac's symbol, striking the Eradicator, absorbing its power.
Brainiac has intended to fashion a body for himself, using the energy from the planet's core.
In a containment chamber, Brainiac's body begins growing. A schematic of the goal is pictured on a monitor.
But by absorbing the Eradicator, not only could he have the body he so desired, he would also possess the perpetual battery by which to power him indefinitely, forever. Ironically, his drain on the planet's core finally took its toll.
The council chamber begins to shudder and crumble. A piece of ceiling breaks free and crashes into the monitor, breaking the connection with the Eradicator. In the containment chamber, the body formation stops, resulting in a half-formed Brainiac. The view screen fills with Brainiac's symbol, shuddering.
No!
Facing the destruction he created, Brainiac was forced to depart Krypton on a craft he had constructed in secrecy. Without the body he so desired.
Interior, Jor-El's launch pad. Laura hands the infant Superman to Jor-El. He holds the child in his arms, addressing the camera. The room is shuddering and falling apart.
The planet is in its final moments, my son. As I hold you on one last time, I record this message to be viewed in the even. The more that Brainiac tracks either you or the Eradicator back to the planet I'm sending you, Earth. Avoid him to all costs, my son. I've used these last minutes to code your chromo frequency into the Eradicator. In the event of a significant drop in your vital signs, the Eradicator will come to your aid. Be well, Kal-El. You were so cherished.
As Jor-El hands the infant to the Eradicator, static fills the screen. Interior, fortress, close-up on Superman's face. Superman lays in a Kryptonian resuscitation chamber. Arms fold over his chest. He is immersed in a gelatinous green mass. His eyes snap open, and he sits bolt upright, breaking out of his dense goo. He throws up a lungful of the muck, inhales deeply.
Father!
He slowly rises, wiping the jelly from his body and face. The old blue and red togs are gone, replaced by a black resuscitation suit. Then there are ripples along the surface of the gelatin within the resuscitation chamber. The Eradicator rises behind Superman.
Greetings, son of Jor-El.
Superman turns quickly to see the Eradicator. He looks from E to where the resuscitative path no longer is, save for some remnants of the goo. Superman then looks back at the Eradicator, dazed.
It has been some time since last we met. Your hardware has improved, and now you wear clothes.
I saw my dad, Jor-El. It was like my life flashed before my eyes, but it was from part of my life I don't remember. Krypton, I've never seen it. I saw my birth parents, but not Ma and Pa and Lois. Why didn't I see her? You think your final reflection would include the most important person in your life?
Perhaps because your reflection was far from final.
Superman stares at the Eradicator, slowly grasping. Then...
I'm alive?
The Eradicator nods. Superman leaps to his feet, triumphantly. The Eradicator proceeds around the chamber, constructing a small two-man ship.
I'm alive! Then that was just a dream!
A message downloaded it into your cerebral cortex while you were in the resuscitation bath.
You were on Krypton too with my dad. How did you get here?
I was the craft that brought you to this planet years ago.
The rocket. How?
My programming allows me to shapeshift into any form of equal mass to my own humanoid structure. The rocket was only large enough to carry a child, a factor that prevented me from transporting your parents as well as yourself.
You've been in the fortress all this time and I didn't know it? Wait. Did you ever see Lois and I while we... why the hell did you never say anything?
I was programmed to lie dormant until such a time as your vital signs waned. That's never been a factor until now.
I'm remembering now. The sun was blocked. My dad warned me about a threat from Krypton in the message. Brainiac. Is that the creature I was fighting?
No. Brainiac is far more dangerous than that beast.
Then I've got to bring him down. Where's my suit? I've got to get back to Metropolis.
He leaps, as if to take off, but falls to the ground.
Your powers are still gone.
Superman rises to his hands and knees, wide-eyed. He's never been powerless in his life.
Will they return?
Once we get away from the shadowed Earth and closer to the sun, you should be back online. This ship will be taking us off-world in less than an hour.
Whoa. Leave?
We must find another world where the sun affects you as it did here.
But what about Brainiac? I can't leave all those people behind.
When Earth was chosen as your home, it was so that the powers you would manifest would place you above its inhabitants, not so you could be their champion.
No, we're staying here and fighting Brainiac. I don't care if I really die this time.
Fortunately, that will never be a factor. The program your father imparted to me before we left the dying Krypton was to ensure your longevity.
Superman stares at him, taken aback.
I can't die?
As long as I function, no.
Then all the more reason to go after this Brainiac character. I'm not letting him do this to Earth, what he did to Krypton.
Brainiac has come to this planet to hunt me. He cites my perpetual battery, and he will destroy this world if he must to acquire it. That endangers your life, which is against my programming. We must find you a new home.
Earth is my home. You expect me to just leave it behind, leave Lois? Just to save myself?
Yes.
Superman offers the Eradicator a sharp, shocked look.
This race is as good as extinct, Kal-El. You cannot save them now.
Damn it, I have to at least try. That's in my programming.
The Eradicator sees the passion in Superman's eyes. He processes this and stands back. Superman proceeds.
The first order of business would be to remove whatever's blocking the sun. But apparently I'm unable to fly, which leaves the question of, how do you reach that thing?
Superman looks to the two-man ship, then back to the Eradicator. Exterior, Metropolis, night. We get our first look at what Metropolis has become. The Skull ship now rests atop the twin Metro towers, and it's grown, encasing the buildings in the steel of its hull, squid-like in nature. The large screen TV that rests atop the WGBS building now airs updates and reports of the Armada's distance from Earth. At the LexCorp building, we can see Luthor, flanked by bodyguards. On the front steps, he stands at a podium before bundled-up members of the press.
As his designated representative, Brainiac has asked me to give you this latest update.
Exterior, LexCorp building, night. At the podium, Lex reads from a prepared statement.
According to his calculations, the Armada should completely pass through our solar system in a matter of days, at which time the sun will return.
The press let out a cheer. Lois stands among them. Looking on suspiciously, she speaks up.
There are rumors of a rebellion of sorts, a group that doesn't necessarily trust or believe either you or Brainiac.
Lex's eyes flare briefly, then settle. He smiles kindly.
Miss Lane, this city, this world, knows how much Brainiac has done for us. There are some who will take issue with anything for the sake of being contradictory. Don't let their bitter voices echo louder than the joyous praise of the majority.
Ironically enough, you were once the bitter minority, complaining about Superman's interference with the planet, yet now you lay like a lapdog at the feet of Brainiac? Why the switch?
I did not understand Superman's purpose. Brainiac explained it to me. I only wish I had known his import before he died.
Call me a skeptic, but somehow I don't buy your sincerity, Lex.
Well, Ms. Lane, it's like the shirt says.
Lex rips open his button-down shirt, Superman style, revealing a t-shirt beneath. On it is the image of a stone-faced Brainiac, around whose head the letters spell out, "I'm a maniac for Brainiac." The press cheers. Lex owns them. Close up on the shirt. Interior League of Nations conference room. The same shirt, only on a different being, Elron. The little robot sits among the delegates as Brainiac addresses the World Congress.
Ladies and gentlemen of the World Congress, it is my conclusion that the marauders who seek to ravage your planet have sent an even deadlier threat than the Doomsday creature.
The delegates panic. Elron pulls up his shirt and his chest opens, revealing a projector of sorts. An image of the Eradicator is thrown onto the screen.
This being is an anthropomorphic weapon, 100 times more powerful than your atomic bomb. Its detonation, while effectively wiping out half of Earth's population, will also signal the armada of the planet's hidden location.
What can we do to prevent this?
Utilize your military. Have them locate this weapon, but do not engage it. When you have found it, contact me. I will defuse it. That is all.
Interior, Skull ship, bridge. Brainiac and Elron enter.
You sure scared the hell out of those guys.
Well, which will ensure that they will work twice as hard as even us to locate the Eradicator technology.
Won't Lex Luthor ask questions when he hears about this? He'll know you're lying.
We have nothing to fear on this dismal planet, Elron. Least of all, the slow-witted Lex Luthor.
Brainiac then notices the small marble replicas of himself sitting on a pedestal across the control board. A note is attached which reads, "To Earth's next master." Brainiac regards the statue curiously. He looks to Elron.
Speak of the dummy, obviously from Luthor, not so much a gift as a vulgar attempt to stay on your good side.
Brainiac seizes the statue and crushes it in his grip. There amidst the dust sits a micro spy camera, blinking.
Apparently, Lex Luthor is more clever than we gave him credit. Show the Cretan what he wants to see.
Exterior, space. The two-man ship rockets through space. Through the windshield, we see the eradicator of the helm. The lower half of his body makes up the control board, while his upper half operates it. Interior ship. Surrounded by various pieces what resembles armaments, Superman attempts to pull them on.
What is it? What is it going to do exactly?
We're building you a resuscitative suit. Your trial has left you injured and weakened. These units will expedite your recovery.
In Little League, it was easy. It began and ended with a cup.
Then tendrils reach out of the Eradicator's back and scoop up the various pieces, outfitting Superman.
This will support strained back muscles. These will repair the fracture in your shoulder. Your ankles will need the support of this, and this will protect your vertebrae.
The tendrils draw back into their operator, revealing a newly outfitted Superman, minus the S-shield. He looks ready for action.
All this and I'm still powerless?
But protected. Strap yourself in now, Kal-El. We've almost reached our destination.
They soar towards the far-off Shadowcaster. Interior, Lex's office, night, close up on a monitor, which displays Brainiac and Elron analyzing a Lex Tech schematic on their view screen. Misty and Lex watch the monitor.
You were right. He's trying to access the weapons division.
That's what we're supposed to think. This is a fake. See this? It's pixelated. If this were truly from our surveillance camera, we'd see scan lines like a television image. This picture was created digitally.
But how?
He's a living computer, Misty. It's certainly not beyond his capacity to manipulate an image. It would seem that Brainiac is onto us and hiding something.
How do you want to play it?
Like every business deal, cordial on the surface. Meanwhile, we put to use that data we've compiled from the diagnostic check on the Shadowcaster technology, and the moment Brainy, not, steps out of line, we simply cut off the chow bag he thinks we know nothing about.
You know, you're incredibly attractive when you're like this. It's noon. You've got an interview with the Daily Planet.
Is it noon already? It's hard to tell anymore.
As Misty exits, Lois and Jimmy enter.
Well, well, well. Metropolis's own voice of dissent.
If I'm the mouthpiece, wouldn't that make you the other cavity?
Good old Lois, always a quipper, aren't you? You want something to print in that rag you work for? Print this. This anti-Brainiac rhetoric you've been spouting both today and on the pages of the Planet is dangerous. I only pray that your columns continue to be read as merely socio-political criticism and not as an act of sedition.
Sedition? Since when is an opinion considered sedition?
What do you think those huge ships are? Parade floats? If you unsettle Brainiac with your mistrust, you put this planet in peril. There's not a government on Earth that wouldn't call that sedition.
Wait out the cold and dark bestowed upon us by an alien who's supposedly protecting us from other aliens? 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Is that any different from what Superman did? You were his greatest advocate, Miss Lane. And when in death, his true agenda is revealed, you turn against the Man of Steel's own master.
The day I believe Superman was in league with Brainiac is the day I quit the city desk and take over the planet's horoscope page.
Then start watching the stars, young lady.
You've already got most of the world doing that.
Jimmy jumps between the verbally sparring pair.
This would probably be a great time to take that photo, Mr. Luthor.
Lex goes soft, smiling at Lois. He rounds the desk and scoots next to her.
I'm sure if Miss Lane had it her way, this photo would appear on the obituary page under the heading Luthor, finally out cold.
Then Lex drops to the ground, out cold. Reveal, Lois palming a small needle, resembling a joy buzzer.
How long we got?
Dr. Hamilton said about 5 minutes. Do your thing, kid.
Jimmy hits the computer, typing as fast as he can. Exterior fortress. The skull ship rests on the snowy plains. Brainiac and Elron emerge, led by General Darius and 2 soldiers.
Darius? Yeah,
The president knows about Superman's fortress for years, but we have always respected the Man of Steel's privacy. It wasn't until your address that I suggested we investigate the premises for a breach.
Very wise of you, General Darius.
Good monkey.
Then, as the trio approach the entranceway, the 2 polar bears rise from their statue-like positions and attack the escort, soldiers tearing them apart. The bears turn on Brainiac, who ferociously wrestles the first bear to the ground, savagely breaking its neck. Seeing this, the second bear turns and flees. Elrond brushes snow from his master as Darius stands there, open mouth.
Shall we?
Interior fortress. Brainiac stops where the resuscitation bath was. A remnant of green goo from the bath lies on the snow. His hand morphs into a mini vacuum of sorts and sucks it up.
It's him. The Eradicator was here. Prepare your men for his return, but do not shoot to kill. Leave his capture to...
Then Brainiac falters. He looks at his arm, which begins withering. The reversal of how it was affected when he drained the alien craft. Elrond ushers Darius away.
All right. Show's over. Nothing to see here. Go outside with your drones and march around or something.
Darius is ruffled, but exits. Brainiac leans on Elrond.
We have to get you back to the ship, my liege.
No. I will gain my energy by absorbing the Eradicator upon his return.
Brainiac withers further. Elrond grabs hold of him, pulling him out of the room.
If we don't return to the Metropolis and hook you back into the core to maintain your form, you'll be offline in minutes. We'll come back for the Eradicator. He's not going anywhere.
Interior, Lex's office, night. On the screen, we see Jimmy gain access to Lex's files. He scrolls through them while Lois looks over the desk, keeping an eye on Luthor's condition.
I think I've got something.
Jimmy accesses a file marked AI. He opens it, and we get the gist of his backstepping plans for Brainiac.
Well, well, well. Seems the old weasel's not such a maniac for Brainiac after all. That could be helpful down the road.
Jimmy pops a disk into the computer, downloading the file. Then there's a groggy grunt. Lex begins to stir. Lois rushes to his side. She motions to Jimmy, who jumps away from the computer, grabbing the disk. Lois helps Lex to his feet.
What happened?
You passed out, Lex. Must be all the stress.
Must be. Although I wouldn't discount the effect you've been known to have on men, Miss Lane.
My girlish charm.
Your devilish...
Then Lex freezes. He notices his computer is on.
Inquisitiveness.
Lex looks sharply at Lois. Close up on Lex's eyes as they accuse. Close up on Lois's eyes as they shrug. Back to scene. Then Lois grabs Jimmy and sprints to the balcony. Lex punches his intercom.
Security! Seal all exits! Now!
Exterior, Lex's office, balcony, night. Lois drags Jimmy inside, slamming the door behind them. Lois looks in every direction and spots Brainiac's hover skiff parked to the side. She looks at Jimmy.
Gotta be close to a moped, right?
Interior, Lex's office. A team of LexCorp security piles in. Lex points frantically at the balcony, screaming.
Don't let them get away! Shoot to kill!
Exterior, Lex's office, balcony, night. The security team kicks the door open and take aim. Lex is right behind them. Lois and Jimmy leap aboard the hover jet, gun the engine, and shoot into the air over the heads of Lex and the security team.
Fire!
And fire they do, unloading a lethal payload into the air. With Jimmy holding on for dear life, Lois maneuvers the hover jet like a pro, dodging shots left and right. She soars higher into the air, steering the vehicle toward the top of the building.
Oh, shouldn't we be getting as far away from here as possible?
Kinda like a date, isn't it, Jimmy? Well, on a date you get dinner and a movie.
Lois flies over the roof of LexCorp, and we reveal the huge holograph device that throws the image of Armada against the sky.
Shoot it, Jimmy. Now we've got all the proof we need.
Jimmy takes pictures. Exterior, space. Superman and the Eradicator reach the Shadowcaster. It's imposing as hell. The Eradicator hooks into the satellite and begins processing.
Fascinating. You would imagine he'd take some security measures. With no interference, I should have it shut down momentarily.
But Superman's attention is drawn to the hull of the ship.
Eradicator, can you enhance the view screen to X-ray?
Interior, Eradicator craft. The visual Superman sees through the window X-rays until the words Lex-Tech 37 are revealed. Superman growls.
What a shock.
Exterior, space. Suddenly, an electrical charge runs through the Eradicator's hookup. It detaches itself from the Shadowcaster and goes dark. Then Superman and the Eradicator craft begin plummeting toward Earth.
Eradicator?
Brainiac's technology has taken a bit out of me, Kal-El.
The ship continues to fall, the Eradicator seemingly out.
We're free-falling here.
The technology is not only working from a program my processors find too foreign to crack, it has also had a negative impact on my neural net. My systems are shutting down.
What?
It's akin to the toxic effect kryptonite has on your system.
The kryptonite leaves me powerless.
Bingo.
Interior, Skull Ship Bridge. Elron throws switches on a control panel. Brainiac lays in the midst of an enormous device. A helm is lowered over his head. He points to Elron, who in turn presses a button. Pure energy shoots through Brainiac, sending him into convulsions. On the device monitor, there is an illustration of the device pulsing with rising. The amount Brainiac is sucking up, and decreasing. The amount he's taking, numbers. The source of his power, according to the graphic, the Earth's core. Elron shuts the machine down. Brainiac throws off the helm, rising.
Why did you bring me back here if we'd waited? The Eradicator would have been mine.
Malayaj, you were nearly powerless.
Brainiac seizes the little robot, holding him aloft.
If you've interfered with my manifest, you little talking cog, I will absorb the insignificant energy that's wasted on you. Bring us back to the Antarctic now. I will have that technology.
Then an alarm goes off. Both Brainiac and Elron look to the view screen. A mapping system comes up on the screen. It zooms in on a free-falling blip located in the upper atmosphere. The pair rush to control the board.
Something's rapidly descending towards Earth that doesn't match any known terrestrial crafts, giving off radiation readings native to you know where.
Brainiac goes wide-eyed.
The technology of Jor-El.
Exterior, space. The Eradicator ship screams into the lower atmosphere, rocketing at the surface of the planet. Interior, Eradicator ship. Superman looks about nervously.
Come on, man. Up, up, and away!
Exterior, space. The Eradicator ship screams through the clouds, racing a landmass.
I'm attempting a cross relay with my transnet. Should take approximately 30 minutes.
Interior, Eradicator craft. Superman punches at the control panel.
We don't have 30 minutes. We're going down now. I did not come this far in life and cheat death just to die and with essentially a plane crash.
Ah, never mind. Here we are.
The Eradicator comes back online as the craft's interior lights come back up. Exterior, coast, city, night. Just in time to pull its nose up, narrowly missing a violent impact with the ground and coming to a rocky landing in the midst of a desolate city. Interior, Skull Ship Bridge. Brainiac and Elron stare up at the view screen.
Lock onto the signal. We'll follow it to the source.
The mapping system disappears, replaced by signal lost.
What the? Where did it go?
It's cloaking itself. It's on its way here to Metropolis. It means to enter the city undetected, revive the Kryptonian's body.
Then surely the League of Nations search team will pick it up on radar.
I'm leaving nothing to chance. It may be cloaked now, but cloaks are simple encryption programs. Break its code. Do not fail me, little robot.
Exterior, Coast City, night. Superman and the Eradicator climb out of the flying craft. Superman hugs the ground, sweating bullets, breathing heavily.
Is this your idea of preserving my life?
It would appear that Brainiac has rendered the device tamper-proof. The anti-technology is beyond my comprehension. The hardware...
Provided by Luthor. That's why he moved his space station. Lois was right. That story was right up my alley.
You dream of this, Lois. When you were in the resuscitation chamber, she was without clothes.
I remember. Thank you.
You would have her as Jor-El had Lara?
I would. She has trouble having me.
And this disturbs you.
It has its drawbacks. Yes.
I've ascertained that the inhabitants of this planet hold you in high esteem. I don't see why the affection, or lack thereof, of one matters, in respect to the multitude who show you allegiance.
That's something I've been dwelling on since I came back, and I think I've come to the truth that, I've never wanted to face before. Yes, I do it all for the multitude, but when I save lives or fight for the weak, I'm saving one life, fighting for one person, again and again and again. It's her, don't you see? She represents all of them. Their hopes, their fragile stuff, you know what I'm saying? Their passion. And if I ever feel like no matter how much I do, it's not enough, I think of Lois, and then I'm off, faster than a speeding bullet to be Earth's champion, but always hers first.
This does not compute.
That's because it's not about this. It's about this.
Suddenly, an explosion is heard. Superman reacts, racing towards the sound. The Eradicator follows. Exterior, burning building, night. An apartment building has caught fire. Tenants pour out of the building. Then, screams for help can be heard. Superman looks up.
No!
From their window on the second and third floors, tenants call out for help. Trapped. Superman takes his classic stance and attempts to blow super breath. Forgetting his lack of powers, he appears crestfallen for a moment, then looks to the Eradicator.
Hey, bust the fire hydrant open now!
The Eradicator offers him a puzzled look.
God damn it, do it now!
The Eradicator kicks a hydrant open, and water begins spilling out onto the street. Superman soaks himself in it, and from head to toe, he races off, leaving the Eradicator standing there. Superman gets to the front of the building. Flames already block the front door. He moves towards the flames, then pulls back, overcome by the heat. He stares at the flames for a second, shocked. His face says it all. He's afraid. He slams his eyes shut, as if willing his fear away. He then covers his face and leaps through the wall of fire. The Eradicator's eyes go wide.
I just don't understand that, boy.
Interior burning building. The powerless Superman emerges from the flames, landing on the other side, singed but otherwise okay. He heads up the stairs of the fast-flaming complex and bangs on the doors. Frightened people emerge, coughing.
Everything's going to be fine. I'm going to help the kids out first, so stay calm.
Superman scoops up two children. A woman grabs him by the shoulder.
What about the rest of us?
Superman looks from the woman to the rest of the people in the non-crowded hallway. He is given pause. Can he do this? He shakes it off.
I'll be back, I promise.
And down the stairs with his precious cargo he charges. Exterior, burning building, night. Superman leaps through the wall of flame, cradling the children in his arms. He moves through the crowd outside, rushing to the kids to the Eradicator, wraps him in the wet blankets.
Have you lost sight of the fact that you are now as vulnerable to those you seek to aid?
I can't just stand here like you and watch.
Then the windows blow out of the bottom floors. People scream from the second and third floor windows. Superman lets out a defeated howl. He looks out to the Eradicator, desperate. They lock eyes. The Eradicator steps back and morphs into a dazzling display of body armor.
Climb in.
Superman eagerly jumps into the suit.
This will enable you to duplicate any of your former powers.
You didn't think to suggest this earlier?
And patronize your Messiah complex further?
The suit seals itself around Superman, concealing his identity, and lifts into the air. They make a beeline to the top floor windows. Interior apartment. The Superman bursts through a wall, giving the non-literal Man of Steel access to the top floor. Superman's perspective. As the suit stimulates his former X-ray vision, we see through a wall where a frightened family cowers. Back to the scene. Lasers shoot from the eyepieces of the suit, cutting through the wall. Superman steps through the hole. The family looks up, transfixed.
Sorry I'm late. Shall we?
Exterior. Burning building. Night. Superman gently sets the family down on the street where they're greeted by firemen who are hosing down the building. Superman trains his heat vision on the generator, repairing the damage. The power on the block comes back on, and the people cheer.
What do they call you, man?
Huh?
You're one of those superheroes, right? What do they call you? So I don't look like an idiot when I tell the press some guy in a robot suit saved a ton of people.
Just tell them I'm back.
And as the people cheer, Superman leaps into the sky, rocketing out of sight.
Who's back?
Exterior, sky, night. With the aid of the Eradicator suit, Superman soars again, maneuvering gracefully.
What's going on, Kal-El?
Metropolis.
Is there a moment's peace with you? In this form, you're monopolizing energy that was chiefly powering my cloaking field.
Shut it down.
What? Brainiac will detect us.
Let him. I want him to know that I'm coming.
The pair as one head east, hellbent. Interior, skull, ship. Elrond bangs at the keys to the main computer. Then a flashing image and shrill beep come up on the view screen.
Malayaj, I think I've cracked the code.
You have the technology's position.
It's 3 hours west and heading towards us at an alarming rate.
Interior, daily planet. City room, night. LexCorp security, now decked out more like soldiers, topple file cabinets and rifle through desk. Perry shouts in Lex's face.
Great Caesar's ghost, you're going to have the biggest lawsuit on your hands when I get through with you. Brainiac's emissary or not, you've got no right.
I've got every right. White. National security. Lois Lane and James Olsen are under suspicion of engaging in espionage and propaganda that threatens not just this country, but the world.
He tosses the right at Perry.
This is a newspaper, for the love of God. We don't trade in propaganda. We print the news.
Then print this, old man. By order of the authority given Brainiac by the World Congress, while this planet is under his protection, Lane and Olsen are hereby charged with sedition and insurrection. And unless you want to be charged with aiding and abetting known felons, I'd suggest you divulge their whereabouts.
Interior, Clark Kent's apartment, night. On the mantle, we see a picture frame containing a photo of Lois and Clark at a press junket. Lois picks it up, looking at it. Jimmy is behind her. His laptop set up on the table, he taps away at the keys.
I'm sending the picture of the holographic project to every news service and paper on the net. They should have it in seconds. Hey, look at this, Miss Lane.
On computer, a news story accompanied by a murky image of the Eradicator suit leaving the burning building in LA. Jimmy reads from the screen.
Some sort of hero saved a building full of people from a fire out in the coast city. When asked for an identity, he replied, "I'm back." You don't think...
No, and neither should you.
Kind of weird. As being here in Mr. Kent's apartment, Miss Lane, and maybe...
Best place to lay low until tonight. Nobody'd think to look for us here. Besides, I don't think Clark would mind. He won't be needing it anymore.
You can't think like that, Miss Lane. Clark may be fine.
I wish I shared your sense of optimism.
That's something I have been meaning to ask. I wanted to ask you something. From the start of all this, you have never believed Lex or Brainiac, especially the part about their connection to Superman. How do you know it is not the truth?
That feeling, kid. Journo's instinct.
I mean, we know the Armada story is all a bullshit, but what if what Brainiac said about Superman was true?
Lois puts the picture frame down and pulls Clark's jacket from off a chair, holding it close to her body.
Come on, Jimmy. You're talking about Superman here.
As Jimmy speaks, Lois inhales Clark's jacket deeply. She tears up a bit.
Yeah, but what did any of us really know about him?
Not enough.
As Jimmy speaks, Lois finds a pair of Clark's glasses.
Look, Superman and Brainiac both came from the same planet. They both have these powers. All I'm saying is, what if they meant to conquer Earth together? You know, after all, the guy was an alien.
Would you shut up already? Clark gave his life fighting that thing. He loved this planet. He cherished the people. And you sit here throwing out this crap about how he might have been in league with a scumbag like Luthor?
Jimmy looks down, cowed. Lois breaks down.
I lost everything when I lost him. And now he's not here, and I never got to tell him how much I wanted to say yes that night.
Lois has worked herself into a crying frenzy. Jimmy looks on, stupefied.
I'm sorry, Miss Lane. I didn't mean anything by it.
It's all right. It's just nerves.
You said Clark.
Huh?
You said Clark gave his life fighting that thing.
Lois freezes. A little panic on her face. She looks at Jimmy. Jimmy looks at her. Shocked by what he sees in her face, he knows. Then he smiles kindly.
I'm sure you meant to say Superman.
Lois looks at him and nods slowly.
Yes, I did.
They look at one another and nod. The secret's safe. Jimmy's hands in Lois a remote and picks up a gym bag.
I've patched the camera in. This is all you need for broadcast, okay? Just press this. You just press this button, yeah? When you are ready.
You've got 20 minutes.
It's business as usual, Miss Lane. You take care of the text. I'll take care of the visuals, okay?
Interior. Skull ship. Night. Brainiac and Elron monitor the view screen. Lex enters, escorted by Misty.
Lex?
We've had a slight problem. A reporter, she may have accessed information about our armada.
Charade no longer concerns me.
It's about 20 minutes outside of the city. Maillage and closing fast.
Lex looks to Misty, curiously. Interior. Clark Kent's apartment. Night. Lois stands before a video camera, which is plugged into Jimmy's laptop. She points her remote at it.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
She presses the button on the remote, and the camera's red light goes on. Exterior. Metropolis skyline. On giant screen TV. On the giant screen, atop WGBS, the visual Lois phases in through static. Interior, skull, ship, on view screen, same time. Lois pops up as well. Exterior, appliance store, window, same time. All the TV show Lois as well. People stop and listen as she speaks.
People of Metropolis.
Skull ship?
Second.
Okay. Okay, you got it.
Exterior, skull ship, night. Armed LexCorp soldiers patrol the front of the building. A flash of black swoops past, leaving them gunless and perplexed. Interior, skull ship. Lex moves closer to the view screen, shocked.
For weeks, we've watched the skies, dreading an invasion from aliens. But the real invasion took place when Superman died. He was not the minion of Brainiac. He died fighting the minion of Brainiac.
Exterior, Metropolis streets, night. On a light post hangs a Maniac for Brainiac sign, similar to the t-shirt. Another flash of black whooshes by, and the sign sprinkles to the ground, shredded. Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Jimmy sneaks behind a trio of smoking LexCorp soldiers and into the building. Interior, Clark Kent's basement, night. Lois addresses the camera.
I don't carry any torch that Superman may still be alive. I watched him die, protecting our world one last time. But his spirit is still alive.
Exterior, Daily Planet building, night. There are half A pair of flags hanging outside the building. One American, one Brainiac. A black gust of wind tears through, and only the American flag remains. Interior, skull ship. Lex is riveted on Lois, nervously. Brainiac regards the screen angrily.
It's alive in those who always saw through Brainiac's lies.
Exterior, appliance store, night. The crowd gathered outside watching Lois have their coats and hair blown to the right as a black gust whips past them. Exterior, LexCorp, rooftop, night. Jimmy pops out of the rooftop door and rushes to the power shed. He pulls a bolt cutter from his bag and pops the lock. Interior, generator, shed, night. Along the wall hang a series of power grids, all matched by huge lever. Jimmy pulls a schematic from his bag, looking for the night switch.
Just keep talking, Miss Lane. Keep talking.
Exterior, Metropolis street, night. A couple of kids on skateboards jump a curb. One of the pair wipes out and is about to hit the asphalt when something catches him, puts him back on his feet, and is gone. The kid looks around to see nothing. Interior, Daily Planet, city room, night. Perry and reporters watch the ceiling-hung TV.
It's alive in all of you watching this. To whom I say, the Armada is a hoax.
And outside the window, something whips past the windows, rattling them. Perry rushes to the sill and pops his head out, looking around. Interior, Clark Kent's basement, night. Lois wraps it up for the camera.
So I urge you, the people of Metropolis, go outside, look to the skies, for tonight we reveal the lie sold to you by Brainiac and Lex. Because if Superman, if he were here, he would have done this for us. Since he's not, we do this for him. For Superman.
Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Jimmy tries to figure out which lever will shut down the holographic projector from the schematic. He shrugs.
For Superman.
And starts throwing every lever. Exterior, Clark Kent's apartment, night. Lois emerges, looking to the LexCorp building where, floor by floor, from the ground up, the power is going off. She then looks up at the Armada. Exterior, Metropolis, night. People emerge from their buildings, looking up. Interior, skull ship. Brainiac, Lex, and Misty watch this on the view screen. Elron manned the computer. An alarm goes off on the control panel.
The LexCorp building's power is being shut down.
Losing power?
Lex's eyes go wide. He barks into a walkie-talkie.
All LexCorp troops, quell any uprising around the buildings and get a team to the roof, now! Use of force permitted.
Interior, generator room, night. Jimmy comes to the last switch.
Had to be the last one, didn't it?
He throws it. Exterior, LexCorp, rooftop, night. The holographic projector shuts down. Exterior, sky over Metropolis, night. And the visual of the Armada shimmers momentarily, then disappears from view. For good. Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Lois joins the mass of peoples gathered, staring up at the sky. She lets out a victorious howl.
Oh!
Exterior, LexCorp, rooftop, night. Jimmy steps out of his shed and looks up, smiling. He leaps into the air, echoing Lois's victory howl. Then the rooftop door explodes. LexCorp soldiers pile out, racing after Jimmy. Rifles drawn, the soldiers train their sights on him and begin firing. Jimmy dodges bullets, chased to the edge of the roof, his foot slipping, and he falls, plummeting to his death. Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Jimmy falls towards the crowds below, screaming until something swoops in and catches him 10 floors from the pavement.
You're nowhere near a pool to be diving like that, kid.
Jimmy opens his eyes to see Superman, clad in the Eradicator suit, but with the cowl-like nature of the suit's headpiece, Jimmy doesn't recognize him.
Holy shit, who are you?
Superman swoops to the ground, setting Jimmy down in a back alley.
Where's Mrs. Lane?
On the street somewhere. I'm supposed to meet her out front.
Find her, and both of you get to safety. The city's oppressors are about to feel my raft.
He breaks into takeoff position. Jimmy rushes to him.
Wait!
Superman stops. Jimmy hands him the LexCorp disc.
This might come in handy.
Superman nods and inserts the disc into the suit. He takes to the skies again, leaving Jimmy staring up, confused. Exterior, Metropolis, night. People cheer at Armada-less skies, but angry mobs start moving toward. Exterior, Skull Ship. Crowds swarm the building, and the LexCorp soldiers outside. The buildings fight the crowds back toward nearby Metropolis Bridge. Interior, Skull Ship. Lex stares up at the rooftop skylight. Seeing no Armada, he shrugs to Misty.
There goes my bid for mayor. That feed only went as far as Metropolis. There's still time to contain this.
You're the one facing public furor here, Luthor. Not I. How? As you say?
Lex glares at Brainiac and nods.
You've yet to learn the most important lesson of American history. Always have a patsy. I won't be taking the rap for this, my alien friend. You will.
Brainiac regards him curiously. Lex nods to Misty.
Shut him down.
Misty presses a button on a remote control. Exterior, Skull Ship, power grid, night. A red light flashes on a panel. An engineer nods.
The plug.
A team of engineers disengage the power cables that Brainiac used to feed into the Earth's core. Interior, Skull Ship. 5 LexCorp soldiers enter as the Skull Ship powers dim. Brainiac looks around, panicked.
I've disengaged your power source. Learned a few things from the diagnostic scanner I'd loaded onto that rocket. Feeding off the planet's core to maintain your form. No. Lunch hour's over.
Brainiac goes into paroxysms, convulsing. Lex smiles victoriously as the aliens weakens. Then cables erupt from Brainiac's form, locked into the 5 soldiers. And then Misty, as Brainiac absorbs their energy, much as Brainiac had done in the first scene, Lex moves slightly towards his valet, but then freezes. Watching wide-eyed as the group, now drained, fall to the ground as burn husk. Fully energized, Brainiac stands erect, the cables retracting.
Enough with the appetizers. On to the main course.
Brainiac grabs Lex by the throat. Lex smiles. An alarm goes off on the control board.
We're under attack. Violent crowds have gathered here and at LexCorp.
Ah, the fickle masses. How quickly one can become the focus of ire of the Vox Populi. If they access the building, they'll tear you limb from limb.
Nonsense. I'll crush these fleshy nuisances as easily as I crush you.
Powered merely by the life force of a girl and some per-hour grunts? Somehow I doubt it. However, if you holster your pistols, I'll hook you back up into the core. Then you can crush whomever you like except your old partner. Agreed?
We will need all the energy we can get for our confrontation with the Eradicator, sire.
Agreed.
Plug him back in.
Disengage the ship. I'll teach the apes to fear their god.
That doesn't make sense. The Eradicator is within minutes of the Citadel. We should concentrate our efforts on that, not on the Earthlings.
Do as I command.
Exasperated, Elron mans the controls.
Our location matters little. The technology is coming to me regardless.
Exterior, skull ship, night. The skull ship disengages from Metro Towers, taking off. Exterior, sky. Perspective of Superman, night. On a digital readout screen, we see the skull ship moving toward the distant bridge. Superman flies with the aid of the Eradicator suit.
It's heading for the bridge. Now, so are we.
I was afraid you'd say that.
And you have to excuse me, because it's been some time since I've been able to say this. This looks like a job for...
May we just proceed, please?
Exterior, Metropolis Bridge. The Lex Corps troops have chased the angry mobs back onto the bridge. In the distance, the skull ship approaches from the sky. Interior, skull ship. Brainiac turns to Elron.
Fire.
Exterior, Metropolis Bridge, night. The skull ship blasts a laser at the bridge's suspension cables. The bridge begins to snap and crumble. On bridge, the massive crowds, including Lex Corps troops, rush to the side of the bridge, hanging on for dear life. The bridge begins to fall into Metropolis Bay. But look, up in the sky. It's a bird? It's a plane? Superman, in the Eradicator suit, swoops in, grabbing the suspension cables. He pulls with all the suit's strength, trying to keep the bridge from falling. Interior, skull ship. Lex stares at the view screen. Perplexed, Elron looks to Brainiac.
Did I not tell you it would come to me?
I'm getting another reading from it. A biologic.
Yes, the Kryptonian. It would appear the Eradicator has succeeded in resuscitating him.
Wait a second. Who?
Exterior, Metropolis Bridge, night. Superman strains, holding the suspension cables. On the land-locked side of the bridge, Lois emerges from the crowd and stares up at the costume spectacle, transfixed. Lois shakes her head, bewildered. The crowd slides down the unstable bridge, holding on to anything they can. Superman continues to strain, as does the suit.
Amplify my voice.
The crowd runs toward the land-locked sides of the bridge. Superman's voice booms out at them as if through a bullhorn.
Please, clear off the bridge as quickly as possible.
The bridge cleared of people. Superman lets the cables go, and the entire structure collapses into Metropolis Harbor. Superman hangs in the air, surveying the crowds on the shore.
We did it. We saved them.
What's this we nonsense?
Then a laser blast shoots past them. Superman reacts. The midsection of the skull ship jettisons, becoming an independent craft. Claws jut out, grabbing the Man of Steel. Interior, attacked craft. Elron man the controls. Through his windshield, we can see Superman struggling.
I've got him!
Interior, skull ship. Brainiac watches the action on the view screen. Elron's voice is heard over the loudspeaker.
Jeez, is he a slippery Sonova?
Quickly, inject the anti-technology.
Interior, attack craft. Elron punches a button on his control board. Exterior, Metropolis skyline. While Superman fights to free himself from the craft, a syringe-like arm shoots from the craft into the suit, sending a charge through it. The Eradicator shuts down.
Ah! What's wrong?
Interior, skull ship. Brainiac is delighted by what he watches. Lex is puzzled.
The technology's offline, my liege.
Excellent. Bring it to the loading bay. I shall withdraw the Kryptonian from the technology personally.
Kryptonian? Are you talking about Superman? No. Superman's dead. We killed Superman.
Exterior, skull ship, night. The attack craft carries Superman in the suit to the rear of the skull ship.
Not again. Come on. Wake up.
Would you pipe down?
Oh, why the hell didn't you say something?
It's called playing possum, Kal-El. I'm not from Earth, and even I know that. Diverting power from X-ray vision cells. Get ready.
We hear a surge of power charge through the suit, and Superman breaks free of the attack craft's grip. Interior, attack craft. Superman in the suit peers through the windshield of the attack craft. Elron freaks.
Houston, we have a problem!
Exterior, skull ship. Superman grabs the attack craft and swings it into the skull ship, puncturing the hull. Interior, skull ship. Brainiac and Lex duck as the attack craft rips into the ship, spilling Elron out of their feet. The ship grows dim and a massive power loss is heard. Exterior, night, day. The lights on the ship grow weak. Interior, skull ship. Lex is in a panic. Brainiac and Elron tumble toward the control board.
Lock onto that suit.
I can't. We've had a massive surge. All systems are offline.
Exterior, night, sky. Superman watches the skull ship falter. Then something catches his eye. Superman freezes. Near the bridge below, Lois stares up at him, wide-eyed. After a long beat, Superman in the Eradicator suit moves slightly toward her. Interior, skull, ship. The lights come back on, full.
Power back online, Lord Brainiac. Suit in sight.
Fire.
Exterior, Metropolis, sky, night. From the skull ship, a laser blast striking the Superman combo. The pair go rocketing through the sky. Below, Lois panics as a mystery hero is blasted out of the sky. Jimmy rushes up to her.
Miss Lane, I think I saw.
Then Lois turns and dashes away.
Miss Lane, wait! Where are you going?
I've got to find something out once and for all.
Interior, skull ship. Brainiac searches the view screen fiercely.
Not fail me, Elron. Where is the Eradicator?
The short has damaged our detection systems. I can't get a reading.
Suddenly, an alarm sounds. On the view screen, the graphic of the tomb comes up.
The tomb's been breached. It must be them.
Go!
Exterior, Superman's tomb, night. The tomb has indeed been breached. 2 Lexicor soldiers lie on the ground, knocked out cold. The doors are swung open. The beam of flashlight can be seen inside. Interior, Superman's tomb. Lois holds the flashlight in her teeth. She uses a crowbar, slamming at the casket lock. It gives, and she stares at the casket for a beat. She places her hands on it.
I don't want to do it, Clark. If you're still in here, I don't think I'll be able to take it. But I have to know.
Suddenly, blinding light fills the small room. Lois drops the flashlight and covers her eyes. She peers out from behind her fingers to see Elron standing in the doorway, backed up by LexCorp soldiers.
Peekaboo!
Exterior, skull ship, night. The skull ship lands atop Metro towers and again seals itself onto the building. Interior, skull ship. Brainiac fumes at Elron on the bridge.
What do you mean you can't locate it?
I can't get a reading on the technology anywhere.
And who was in the tomb?
The soldiers march Lois onto the bridge. Lex rushes her, grabbing her by the collar.
All right, Lane, what the hell is going on?
Brainiac pushes Lex to the side and faces Lois.
You are the woman from the televised call to arms.
This is the woman that held Superman's affections.
The Kryptonian?
That's what the soldiers told me. They said wherever she was in trouble, he'd be there to save her. In turn, she gave him plenty of ink in the Daily Planet.
Is this true? You harbor affection for the corpse they called Superman? I killed him, you know.
Lois lurches forward at Brainiac, but it is held back by the soldiers. Brainiac is delighted and then shocked.
I'd take that as a yes.
His weakness all along. All I ever would have needed was this woman. blocking out the sun, dealing with an insufferable Lex Luthor of Earth. A waste of Brainiac's time. I could have offered the woman's life in exchange for the technology, but now...
What the hell are you talking about? Superman's dead.
Good God, when are you going to get it? Hey, man, Superman lives!
If that's true, Lex, I can promise you one thing. He's going to kick your bald ass.
Lex rushes her, but Brainiac throws his back, motioning for the soldiers to hold him.
Enough of these games. You will be the bait that draws the Kryptonian to me, and with him comes to the technology I seek. We still have a Thanagarian snare beast in the menagerie, yeah? Introduce him to the atmosphere here on Earth.
Exterior, Metropolis Street, night. The place is abandoned. There's not a soul in sight. Then the Eradicator suit crashes down, crackling the ground. The suit opens and Superman falls out on his hands and knees. The suit morphs back into the Eradicator. Superman is breathing heavily, sweating, exhausted.
You didn't see that blast coming?
I had to divert all power from my shield so that you could play hero. And now there's a circuit malfunction from the effects of that anti-technology surge. I'm going to need time to repair internally.
How long is that going to take? I mean, we've got to get back out there and finish Brainiac.
Barring battles with killer spacecraft or lifting of multi-tonned bridges, 20 minutes.
I hate to say it, but I could use some time to heal myself. This is the first time in, well, ever, that I feel completely exhausted, except for that whole death thing.
You've touched on the precise factor that plagues me, Kal-El. Your life on Earth thus far has been spent as we have spent today, saving lives, battling aggressors. Yet I would imagine that after your mortal trial, you would have reevaluated your role amongst the people of Earth.
I have. Actually, before I died, I've always felt like, how do you say this? A stranger in a strange land. I may look like them, but I'm still an alien. That always put me at distance between me and everyone else. But now, now I know I'm more like them than I ever thought.
In what fashion?
Before, I couldn't identify with their fatality, or now I honestly can. I've tasted mortality. It's humanizing.
Your father would be proud.
Superman regards this with interest.
You could have been a god on this world, enslaved it like Brainiac, but you never chose that path. Instead, here you sit, musing over the possibility of death, between moments of saving this planet from its oppressor.
It's an antiquated notion, but it really is better to serve than be served.
This is what marks the difference between your kind and mine. We serve because we have to. You serve because you choose to.
Then how do you explain Brainiac? He's one of your kind, but he serves no one.
Inaccurate, Kal-El. He's serving himself. He has taken an aspect of humanity, but it's the worst one. And when a machine begins to feel, positive or negative, then it ceases to be a machine, and for the good of all, it must be shut down, as you must shut down Brainiac.
Tough talk from a guy who only yesterday thought we should find another planet.
I can only point to the bad influence you have become.
Suddenly, light down on the pair. Superman looks up, shielding his eyes. Exterior, Metropolis, sky, night. Shimmering against the sky is a holographic image of Brainiac's face.
People of Metropolis, you need no longer fear takeover by hostile aliens. The hostile alien is here. I claim your planet as my own.
Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Metropolitans cease celebrating and stare up at the image of Brainiac.
Gone is the charade of the benevolent Brainiac. I have come to enslave your race. Your world has no champion to save you now. And to mark this historic night, I offer you a display of the price to be paid for rebellion.
Interior, skull ship. Brainiac pulls Lois to him.
Tonight, Lois Lane, the instigator of the anti-Brainiac call to arms, will taste the might of my fury as she is executed for all to witness. To the menagerie.
Exterior, Metropolis street, night. Brainiac cackles against the night sky as he slowly fades. Superman turns on the Eradicator, rising.
How are those circuits coming?
Not again.
Open up.
The Eradicator rolls his eyes and reconfigures into the suit. Superman leaps in and it seals around him.
You know, this may be the only chance I get to say this, but thank you for everything. Up, up, and away!
Off they rocket into the night. Exterior, Metropolis, skyline, night. The sky lights up anew with the image of the skull ship Menagerie. Exterior, LexCorp building, night. Jimmy and Perry watch wide-eyed as the image in the sky depicts Lois being dragged toward two huge doors.
They're going to kill her. Somebody's got to do something.
Jimmy looks up, smiles, and pats Perry on the back.
Somebody's, Chief, somebody's.
Exterior, Metropolis, sky, night. The holograph is shattered by Superman in the Eradicator suit, soaring through the skull ship Citadel. Interior, Menagerie. Two huge doors open, revealing a darkened pit. The captive Lois is ushered toward it by Brainiac, Elron, Lex, and the soldiers.
Ooh, I don't even want to know what's lurking in there. Should have kept your nose for news out of business that wasn't yours. It's a lesson you're going to learn as harshly as your ex-boyfriend.
Lois looks at Lex, wounded.
That's right. You're not going to put this in any paper. Yeah, I helped kill the Man of Steel, so what?
Lois shakes her head, teary-eyed.
Bastard.
She knees Lex in the groin. He doubles over as Brainiac rounds him to face her.
Save your energy, Miss Lane. That maneuver will not have the same result on me. Do you have any last words for the viewers of the world?
Lois looks up sharply as if she hears something. So does Lex. Brainiac notices this and looks up as well. Exterior, skull ship, Superman's perspective, night. The roof of the Citadel is rushing toward us. The sound is huge. Interior, Menagerie. There is a faintest sound of whooshing, as if something is moving through the air outside very, very fast. Lex looks up with a mix of anxiety and confusion.
I know that sound.
Exterior, skull ship, Superman's perspective, night. We're getting even closer to the roof now. The sound is deafening. Interior, Menagerie. Then through her tears, Lois smiles. Brainiac is puzzled as her smile turns to laughter.
Last words? You're dead meat, you...
Exterior, skull ship, night. Superman in the Eradicator suit explodes the roof on the Citadel. Interior, skull ship, night. Then through the ceiling of the bridge and through the floor. Interior, Menagerie, night. And finally through the ceiling over the assembled group's heads.
Baby.
Shit.
Finally.
And when the dust cloud settles, there stands the indiscernible Superman in the Eradicator suit.
Border Patrol, I hear we've got an alien that's not supposed to be here on this planet.
Brainiac holds his hands up, which reconfigures into something pointy and deadly. He holds it to Lois's head.
Step out of my technology, Kryptonian, or I get painfully intimate with the woman.
Superman makes an offensive move, but it is interrupted.
No, Kal-El.
Lex, Lois, and Elron look around for the source of the voice. Brainiac smiles.
I can take him.
You can't. He's rendered himself electro-radioactive. If we touch him, the power surge would kill you, even within me.
The Eradicator opens, and Superman steps out. Lois tearfully smiles. Lex goes wide-eyed. Superman looks at Lois. She moves slightly toward him, but Brainiac pulls her back. Then the suit morphs into the Eradicator suit again, as all look on in wonder.
Been some time, Eradicator, but here we are again. The pride of Jor-El and the pride of Kolu.
The killer of Krypton is more appropriate.
I have waited decades and searched galaxies, all in pursuit of this moment. Now, you're mine.
It is your aim to absorb my technology and become all-powerful, I would imagine.
And they call me Brainiac.
But aren't you worried?
What could possibly worry me?
When I attempted interface with your Shadowcaster device, I was contaminated, temporarily shut down. What if the same thing happens when you attempt to absorb my technology into yours? What if your technology is too advanced to interface with mine?
Brainiac throws his head back, laughing. Superman looks to the Eradicator, who offers him a reassuring wink.
You think it's advanced? The irony is how primitive it is compared to your own. You have no doubt overthought on the Shadowcaster, which when in reality you should have approached it as a child's toy.
A child's toy?
Certainly. Earth hardware, crossed with my own Koluan technology. Its systems are so far beneath your own capabilities that a simple binary synapse would have bypassed any contamination factor.
And they call you Brainiac.
The Eradicator quickly morphs back into the suit, grabbing Superman and hurling the Man of Steel into himself.
For this insolence, I will erase your memory banks, machine.
I am not a machine. You are.
The suit leaps into the air, rocketing out of the Citadel. Lex looks around fearfully, sneaks out of the side exit.
I want the jet fueled and standing by now. The pajama boy is back.
As Lex disappears unnoticed, Brainiac grabs Lois and shouts up at the ceiling.
Hear me, son of Jor-El. Your guardian may have saved your life, but he just damned two more to hell.
Brainiac takes Lois to the two large doors that end the menagerie. As the doors open, Brainiac throws Lois into a dark pit. She screams as she falls. Exterior, space. Superman and the Eradicator races through the outer atmosphere, heading towards the distant Shadowcaster.
What the hell are you doing? Why are we running?
Kal-El, I think I've had what's called an epiphany.
Really? That's excellent to hear. But we're getting further away from rescuing the woman I love.
Your passion is inspiring. It has taught me something I'd thought far beyond my ability to comprehend. I must thank you, Kal-El. You've imparted to me the wisdom of a life lived in service to others.
What are you talking about?
Were it not for your insight, I'd be no better than a machine that oppresses your world, operating solely on the cold logic of what it's programmed to do. But now, I'm choosing to serve. Now, I understand your commitment to this planet and its inhabitants, and I'm going to help you honor it.
You picked a hell of a time to tell me how you feel. How you feel? No!
When a machine begins to feel, positive or negative, then it ceases to be a machine. It must be shut down, or shut down itself.
The Eradicator grabs a piece of itself and pulls it off, which morphs into a silver version of the familiar S.
Take a deep breath and remember to stay in the light.
Before he can react, the Eradicator separates from Superman. He slaps the S on his black suit and lets him go, sending him hurtling earthward.
Superman lives.
The Eradicator then rockets out of sight as Superman free falls through space. Exterior, Shadowcaster. The Eradicator reaches the mammoth device and links into it. The anti-technology sends shockwaves coursing through his body. He fights against shutdown. Interior, Shadowcaster. Circuits blow up. Transistors explode. Exterior, Shadowcaster. It begins losing power. Sections of panel begin shutting down. Sunlight begins pouring through in shafts. The Eradicator begins to shift in shape, the anti-technology coursing through his body. His form finally comes to rest on the figure we've come to know him as most. His face forms a peaceful, joyous smile. Then he explodes. Exterior, space. Superman is plummeting to Earth. Visions smash cut through his head like all the life we've seen him lead. Lois at Mount Rushmore, Lex at the rooftop of LexCorp, the Doomsday Battle, waking from the goo, and still he falls, coming closer to the planet. The visions continue, the Eradicator forming into a suit, catching Jimmy, the strangling tentacles of the skull ship, the Eradicator in the train station, and finally Lois staring up at him from the bridge. The Eradicator's voice echoes through his head.
Stay in the light.
Miles from Earth, Superman fires through our atmosphere, nearing the ground faster by the second. Then one of the stray sunbeams from the shattered Shadowcaster hits him full force. The ground races up to meet the Man of Steel as he absorbs a concentrated beam of solar energy. His face brightens.
Yeah!
Exterior, Metropolis, night. Mere yards from the ground, Superman stops falling in midair and rights himself, swooping upwards. While flying, he stretches his muscles like he's just woken up from a long sleep. He zips past a huge billboard just outside of the city that depicts him in his old suit, flying over, greeting, "Welcome to Metropolis, home of Superman." A knowing smile crawls across the Man of Steel's face. His power returned. Superman lives. Interior, skull ship. At the control board, Elron turns to Brainiac in panic.
The Shadowcaster is de-established? Sunlight is getting through, and something is moving towards us at an alarming rate.
A sonic boom echoes through the skull ship.
Something pissed.
Let the whelp come.
Brainiac takes a seat on his throne. He closes his eyes as the helm lowers over his head.
I will deal with him. Impersonally.
Brainiac shuts his eyes as the helm begins to whir. Interior, pit. Lois squirms about in a mire of fiberglass-looking webbing. From the darkness above, an echoey growl is heard. Exterior, Metropolis Park. The cape still hangs off the statue's extended hand. Then a black flash whips in and out of the frame, and the cape is no longer there. Interior, Menagerie. Superman bursts through the ceiling again, now wearing his cape, and through the many levels of the ship still contained in the single beam of light. Interior, pit. He rockets through the ceiling of the pit, allowing the singular shaft of light to follow. Suddenly, he's struck by a high-powered stream of murky liquid from above, which knocks him out of the light and entraps him in the webbing beside the struggling Lois.
Babe,
Hey, kid. How do we get out of here?
Something huge and quick drops from the shadows behind the shaft of light, striking Superman. The Thungarian snare beast has grown. It resembles something of a cross between a squid and a spider, but very biomechanical and sleek. And now, inhabited by Brainiac's consciousness, it's extra lethal as well. Brainiac's voice is heard, hissing from somewhere within the creature.
Superman.
It batters the Man of Steel, then moves quickly back into the darkness. Superman's a bit dazed.
are you all right?
I'm okay. I just wish I could see what I'm fighting.
Then the beast drops on Superman anew, its massive legs tearing at him. Superman struggles free, bolting towards a shaft of light to strengthen his powers. But the creature grabs hold of him, pulling the Man of Steel back into the darkness. Suddenly, the creature's underbelly opens, setting loose 6 smaller, metallic versions of itself. Superman breaks free of the beast and begins fighting the creatures off, smashing them together, crushing them in his grip. We hear Lois's shriek. Superman reacts. The micro beasts crawl all over Lois. Superman uses his heat vision to blast the creatures, which explode, hissing. Using his powers leaves Superman a little dazed. But the TSB is on him again. Its midsection spreading to reveal a primeval head. The beast springs Superman to its jaws while letting loose an ungodly screech. The pair violently tussle, the beast's head and legs rising and striking, Superman blocking and attacking. A leg shoots from the darkness and catches Superman by the throat, pinning him against the web. The beast's jaws come in close to Superman's face, preparing to gorge. We see the strain on Superman's face, the veins in his neck and head throbbing. Then we see why. Superman uses all his strength to stretch his fist into the just outer reach shaft of light. He makes it, charging himself, the jaws of the creature almost in his hand. Superman comes across with the right hook that knocks the creature into the air. Superman crawls onto the sunlight, takes it in as much as he can, and leaps up at the beast, grabbing hold of the wildly flailing creature. He flies it up and interior menagerie out into the full beam of sunlight.
You want to hide in a bug? I'll crush you like one.
Superman begins bangling the beast. Hooked into his helm, Brainiac convulses, feeling the pain of the beating. Superman grabs the head of the creature and pulls it off furiously. The machine he's hooked up to explodes from the feedback, and Brainiac flees back into his own body. Throwing the helm off, he weakly tries to crawl away from the wreckage, breathing heavily. Superman grabs a hold of him, lifting Brainiac above his head.
You destroyed my home world. You killed me, and you forced my friend to give his life.
You do not take lives. That is the code you live by, like the Eradicator. I live.
No. He was one of the most human beings I've ever known. You're just a machine.
Superman punches his fist through Brainiac's chest and out his back. Brainiac convulses and dies. Superman drops his mangled form to the floor, where it reverts back to its most primitive form, some metal and circuitry. Interior pit. Superman flies to Lois's side. Can I pour water?
Do I look tired? Because I feel tired.
Hey.
Feel worn, yeah. But right now, I have a million questions about what happened to you.
Superman pulls Lois from the web and scoops her up into her arms. Well, maybe I can help shed some light on the subject. Superman streaks up to one of the shafts of light, Lois in the arms.
Exterior Daily Planet building roof, night. Superman sets Lois down on the roof of the building.
Give me a sec, okay?
Lois nods. Superman leaps into the air and is gone, leaving a sonic boom in his wake. Exterior space. Superman reaches the partially functioning sparking showcaster. He begins pushing the shadowcaster, getting up some speed until he lets it go. It whips through the space until it hits the surface of the sun and explodes. The device destroyed, sunlight pours through the space and exterior Earth over the planet. Exterior Metropolis day. Sunlight is everywhere, filling the streets. Exterior Lex Corp building day. Lex emerges from his building carrying 2 suitcases, both packed to the brim. He rushes toward his limo, looking up at the new dawn.
Aruba. Aruba's always excellent this time of year. I'll have all documentation involving Brainiac destroyed while I down daiquiris in the dunes, offering a steady stream of I don't remembers. Hell, it worked for Reagan.
As Lex reaches for the limo door, Superman lands in front of him. Lex shrieks.
Ah!
Morning, Luthor. Going somewhere?
Superman! Thank God! That alien cloned me like a sheep and used my double to make it seem like we were in league.
You get points for originality.
Superman lifts Lex into the air. Exterior, Daily Planet building day. On the ground, Superman lowers Lex into the midst of the police.
All right, that's it. I want this vigilante arrested now.
On what charge?
Endangering a public figure, harassment, whatever.
I have a charge of my own, officers, against Mr. Luthor. A charge of espionage against the world government. Luthor utilized Brainiac for his own selfish gain and had further designs on governmental extortion.
Unsubstantiated, gentlemen. Like you fine people, I was duped by that lying alien. While I do have some suspicions that Superman himself was working in conjunction with Brainiac, I can assure you that there is zero proof that I was ever anything but an unwilling participant in...
Superman tosses the police the download disk from Jimmy. He disappears momentarily and returns in a flash with a laptop, which he hands over to the police. They pop the disk in and look from the computer screen to Lex. Lex glares at Superman.
I just wanted to let you know who beat you, boy.
Superman chuckles and takes off into the air. The police stare down Lex angrily. Lex recoils. Exterior Metropolis day. Jimmy looks up and sees Superman winging his way toward the Daily Planet. Jimmy nods, smiling. I wonder if Mr. Kent will be back to work Monday. Exterior Daily Planet building day. Clark Kent walks out onto the roof where Lois has her arms outstretched, soaking up the sun. He offers her a tube of sunscreen.
You might want to apply some sunblock. You look like SPF 14.
Pithy to the last.
Lois spins into his arms, embracing him tightly. Clark hugs her right back.
Haiti? Who uses that word anymore?
Oh God, I thought you were really gone.
So did I. But I learned a few things. I know what keeps me here and what keeps me, doing what I do, what I'm supposed to do. And what kept me from accepting the grave, it's you, Lois. Superman may look out for everyone, but he doesn't belong to the world. He belongs to you.
Lois wells up.
And I would like you to belong to me.
I love you, Clark. Never leave me again.
I won't, babe. I won't.
Embraces her.
From now on, I'm going to try to be more man than super.
Oh, Clark, are you still dwelling on Mount Rushmore? Forget what I said. That was before the maniacal robots from outer space killed you.
Wait. You're going to let something small like that alter your opinion? You? Lois Lane? Hard-bitten journalist for the Daily Planet?
See, that's one thing you have to learn, Smallville. A woman's allowed to change her mind at any given moment, especially after a bad week. Now kiss me, dead man, before I change my mind.
Must you always have the last word?
Lois is about to respond, but Clark kisses her instead. And everything goes back to normal in Metropolis. Interior, skull ship. The metal Brainiac symbol is picked up off the floor by a small metal hand. Elron deposits the remnant into his circuitry and looks at the camera.
I know, but I'm a glutton for punishment.
He whisks off and out through the hole in the roof. The end.
Yay! Come take a bow, everybody! Yay! We did it! And eventually it was turned into Wild Wild West. If you know the story, that's why there's a giant spider in it, because they put it in Wild Wild West. Anyway, if you have to go, I understand, but we'll do promos, and I also want to thank everybody before we do promos. That was a really, I mean, it's from Kevin Smith. He's a great script writer, but I thought that was really one of my favorite unproduced scripts on this YouTube channel. If you've been watching or if you've been a part, I don't know, I like this one a lot. And shout out to everybody for great performances. Great stage directions from George, Trin, and Angel, and I love all the, like I said, all the costumes that we had. So really great. Like I said, thank you all. Before we go, does anybody have anything to promote? Any shows or Instagram or even if it's in person, if you want to promote, even though I know we're all from different places. So yeah, promote away. Please raise your hand. Going once. If not, I'll promote. I'll give it 2 more seconds. Yes, Carolyn.
Well, actually, I'm promoting that we're going to Atlanta, Georgia, and
Yes.
I believe Wednesday, the 15th, there's going to be a live from the Asylum show at El Dorado, followed by a jam. So if you're all in Atlanta, see you there.
Yeah. Who else had their hand up? Angel, yes.
Me. So I'm part of an online team called In Professionals, and every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a half an hour show. You can watch it on the Facebook page, Socially Distant Improv, every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hey. Who else? Trin?
Yes, and I'm part of Friday Delight and has a jam on at 3 p.m. Central Time, actually 3:30, and I can put the Zoom link in the chat bar if you're ever interested. And that's all. Thank you.
Put any of your links in the chat afterwards, and I'm also happy to share promote. I'll promote one thing, unless does somebody else have anything real quick before I promote, because then we'll get out of here. Yeah, I am doing one more stage direction, not stage direction, unproduced script, December 11th, and I still have spots open. It's actually the shortest script I'm doing. It's 96 pages. It's on December 11th, 8:30 p.m. EDT. As usual, the Facebook event, I'll post it in the chat. So if you want to play roles again, it might be one of the last ones for a while, only because it's getting a little harder to produce these as much as I love them. A lot more people are going outside into the real world, which is fine. But you know, it gets a little harder for the online shows. So this might be the last one for a little bit. So if you think you're free on December 11th with an 8 p.m. EDT call time, there's still roles, so I could definitely use you if you want to play. It's Kong by Peter Jackson, 1996. So I think that's going to be fun. Already, Nelson is going to be playing Englehorn, as we know right now. Carolyn is Anne, and I'll be Jack Denham, or Jack Driscoll, not Jack Denham. Anyway, so if you want to be a part of that, please message me. With that being said, like I said, thank you. Really fun script. I'm going to have to tweet this to Kevin Smith. Maybe he'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was never produced. It's true. If you watch a documentary, I think they turned it into kind of Wild Wild West with the giant spider. So it's interesting. And Nick Cage was supposed to be Superman, so it's another weird. Yeah. All right, I don't want to keep you any longer. Thank you.